What's up, everyone? Kawaii here. Welcome to episode, I think 44 of the Weebs of the Roundtable podcast. In this podcast, we'll be talking about our final thoughts on the spring 2024 season. So joining me right here is MemoryNK, Bad Lad of Culture, and Annie Po Review once again. So other than that, without further ado, let's get to it. So, the first anime on the list is another arc in a very acclaimed shonen series I think many of us know and maybe some of us love. Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc. So
I'm not watching. I already see Memory's reaction.
I can already tell Memory is just very enthusiastic about this arc.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Being one of the most recognized person on Twitter for a certain comment, but sure.
You made another one.
History repeats itself. I mean, what can I say?
To be honest though, from what I heard, this could be actually the last TV series for Demon Slayer because they're now to the end of the franchise will be movie format. You can already see from the trilogy announcement. Well, I from what I know, some people are in my Discord told me that the 3 movie will just focus on the Upper Moon fight, the 3 remaining Upper Moon fight, then rather than go straight to the finale. So I feel like after the 3 Upper Moon finishes, we either might get a finale movie or we're gonna get like a so-called season 5 finale. But we just have to see how it goes. But from what I know is that this next 3 movies will mostly focus on the Upper Moon fight, which, not gonna lie, I'm really excited for it. However, that also goes to show that Demon Slayer will finish around 2027. So
a movie per year, yep.
Yep. Just like Heaven Fuse. That's how they did it for Heaven Fuse. So well, it is what it is. They want to earn the big bucks and you just have to go along with it, I guess, in this case now. Yeah, I know it sucks to go to the cinema, wait for the online release, the BD release, then the online release. People try their best to leak as much stuff out of the cinema as possible, which is not good. But yeah, to be honest though, this is what Ufotable put themselves through now, so we just have to deal with it. As much as it hurts for me personally because I want to do this weekly, but you just have to wait for the cinema release now. So yeah, it sucks, man. It really sucks that the Infinity Castle arc is a movie, but at least I'm expecting quality fight scene. The final episode of the training arc was, wow, by far one of the best finale of Demon Slayer I've seen for a long time. Well, obviously they had to make it a banger one because they had to get people excited for the movie, of course. But damn, I gotta say, I guess Ufotable dedicate all their budget into that once. The final 10 minutes of the episode, and wow, it really took the internet by shock, man. Like how amazing it was, and I'm very excited now that if they're able to put in this much work for the final 10 minutes of the episode, then I'm presumably that the movie will be the same level. So yeah, guess Ufotable are now considered one of the best studio for animation, and not just that, they are one of the best studio in terms of showing love for the source material that they adapt. Fate Stay Night is the prime example one. And Demon Slayer, you can see the amount of anime original stuff being added into the season 2. Trust me, when I went back to the manga and just compared it to the anime, there were a lot more anime original being added into some of the episodes. Not all the episodes, but some of the episodes, especially the first 4 episodes. So it's quite evident to show that when Ufotable put a passion into something, they will make sure that it works. So yep, I guess you can say this is a very good season, but not the best arc to enjoy for Demon Slayer at all. Of course, it's a training arc. Of course, people when it comes to training arc, people just tend to push it to the side, don't really talk too much about it until the last 2 episodes. But it is what it is. Demon Slayer is here to stay for another 3 or 4 more years until we say goodbye to it. But that is also kind of a negative thing for Ufotable other projects because they got the Witch of the Holy Night in the works. They have Genshin Impact at the works, and now they have to put that to the side now to focus on Demon Slayer. So I am a little bit sad because I'm really keen to check out the Witch of the Holy Night movie, but guess we won't be having any news regard to that. Maybe next year, maybe sometime in the future. But I won't be expecting the movie to be out this year though. So yeah, with Demon Slayer, thank you so much for allowing Ufotable to focus on one project and multiple projects. So yeah,
This is my personal least favorite part of Demon Slayer. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't blame you at
yeah,
all.
we don't blame you.
The final episode could not make up for how I feel, even though I really did like the finale. I will say that. I think it sets up. It definitely has me excited for the movies. It does kind of suck. It's going to be spread out across 3 years, but I feel like that was the lone bright spot, personally, for me from this whole part was the final episode, honestly.
I mean, they kind of had to do something to get excited, so...
Yeah, it's just... I can't say I cared about one thing before the finale.
It's a training arc.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like... I feel like for a lot of this part, they were trying to, like, make us care for these, like, fodder characters. Like, I did not care one bit. They were trying to make me care for these fodder who are like trying to train alongside Tanjiro and them. It's like I do not give one shit.
Damn. Oh,
like
okay.
I did not. I personally did not at all. And the thing for me with Demon Slayer is that like it already is tough for me to like a lot of the characters. Like at least in terms of their writing, you know, it's hard for me to grasp the characters. And then when they're trying to focus on these fodder, and I'm just like. I wish you'd put more effort towards the other characters in the series, but what can you do? I don't know. I just was not a fan of this part. I get it's a training arc, but I mean, man, I don't know what else to say. I am excited for the movies, though, for the next part, because I feel like the build up for it is pretty good. The finale especially helped with that. So yeah, can't say I'm really disappointed because I kind of had low expectations knowing that it was like a training arc. Like I didn't have the highest expectations for this arc anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have before I let you talk a while, just I need to like share this. Apparently, from what I read on Twitter and from manga readers, they say that this arc, yes, they understand the complaint from anime only that this season is quite subpar in terms of the story and wise and stuff like that. Well, in terms of the fact that when Tanjiro met with individual Hashiras, I can't believe this is true from what they said, but it has a significant part to play in the Infinity Castle later on. Like in terms of like when you getting to know the Hashira better than how we know them from the previous season, will play a major part in how we approach their character, the moments in the upcoming Infinity Castle arc. And I've been told by this massive spoiler, which I'm not going to tell you guys, of course, but let's just say you might as well cherish this season of the training arc because you can say there are stuff that might happen later in the Infinity Castle arc.
I think I've been spoiled by that
So,
too.
Another thing I will mention, I said the finale was the only bright spot. I would say another one actually is how they brought back Tamayo. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
That's true though. That's true though, because she's been
cool.
mostly a supporting character, like the character just in the sideline most of the time, except for season 1. Yeah, I haven't really seen a lot of her since season 1. Like, damn, that's like
how they incorporated her in this.
Yeah,
in this part was actually pretty.
That
cool.
was great. Yeah,
unexpected, but it was cool. Like,
well, about damn time she got her spotlight.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely this season is more like a very forgettable season, to be honest. Like season to say, oh my god. I think mostly the comments on Twitter are like people would like saying, especially from manga readers, like, just get this arc done already. We want to get to the real fun already, which is the Infinity Castle arc, of course. Like everyone been rushing each week you say, okay, this is good stuff. Can we just get on to the final episode already? Can we get on to the final episode already? And they very well deserved to have a very epic finale. So yeah, definitely this season, same old animation, same old quality moments, but again, the final 3 episodes, I would say, is a perfect build-up to the upcoming Infinity Castle arc, and that is what more people are excited for than this season itself. So, yeah, let's just hope that the Infinity Castle, the first movie, comes out next year, because I can like maybe mid-year next year in the cinemas, and then the movie will be available online on Crunchyroll or just on pirate websites like around like 3 or 4 months after that. So yeah, looking forward to the Infinity Castle arc next year, and let's just hope the Demon Slayer finishes around 2028, so we still have more content to talk about it.
It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I understand why you guys and other people might think that this is like the least favorite arc in the series so far. And I might, to be honest, I might have to agree, but I still enjoyed this arc. It's nice to see the Hashiras again. It's nice to see, Tanjiro, and the other characters once again. One thing I do like about this arc is that I honestly like how, like, Tanjiro has been going through the Hashira training, because you can tell, like, he's learning a lot. Like, it really does seem like he's developing his skills from the stuff that he's learning from the Hashira. And that's something that I've always like kind of liked about Tanjiro, because he doesn't come across as the type of shonen protagonist where like he's just OP for no reason, or he just gets all these like crazy skills and powers out of nowhere. Unlike a certain other protagonist from a certain other shonen series, which we will talk about later. But yeah, it really does seem like he's learning a lot. Also, I like how like the other students in the Hashira training arc, they actually respect Tanjiro. They actually like Tanjiro. I feel like with a lot of other like protagonists, we see that they're bullied, they're revealed as losers, and they have to rise up again against all their haters. But then here you see Demon Slayer, where it's like, no, the protagonist doesn't have to be bullied or treated harshly in order for a story to be interesting. They could have a really great bond with the other kids and still make the story like interesting and entertaining. And I really like that about Demon Slayer. Also, I want to talk about, we said this earlier, but Memory's tweet about the backstories. Now, for those who don't know, back in the Swordsmith Village arc, I believe last year, Memory made a controversial tweet about how there's like so many like dark, gritty backstories in Demon Slayer, and he got both a lot of likes and a lot of backlash from Demon Slayer fans. And it's especially present in Hashira training arc, as we saw with Himajima's backstory, and I think it really was just mostly Himajima's backstory. Also, you can also count Genya's backstory as well with his brother. They also have a strained relationship. And listen, I understand why people would get tired of the dark backstories in this series, but it's like, I think it's a given at this point, because like I'm starting to understand, like, really the only...
Like, you can literally watch the episode and know, you can literally just sit there and say what's gonna happen, and it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for a backstory in this series, especially, like, and I'm not even saying like the backstory has to be some complex like thing. Like, I just feel like backstories like Rengoku's, for example, is something like that is what I prefer. Like, things of that nature. But I feel like these most of the backstories in the series, I'm not just talking about the Hashira either. I'm talking about like just the backstories in the series as a whole.
Yeah,
it's just almost copy and paste the same thing every time. And it just, like, I know it's a shonen series, I get it, and it's not like the first time we saw this. I feel like there's other series that do this too, but it's just like, it's just so predictable, and I'm just not a fan of that part of it, like at all. Like I was watching the episode with Gilmay, that's his name, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, the Stone Hashira.
Yeah. Like I was watching that episode, and right when they started, I'm just like, okay, I know how this is gonna play out. And then I see like this demon like lurking over the cliff, like looking at the village of the kids or whatever where they're all at, and I'm just like, okay, well, here you go.
Here we go.
Literally said it beforehand, and it's like history repeats itself.
And yeah, I mean, I understand like, or I understand why you may not like be fond of it, but it's like, to be honest, I've kind of like expected it. I've kind of like, I've kind of accepted at this point that really the way, like, one of the main ways most people will be involved with the Hashira is because, you know, something happened to them with a demon. Like, maybe like, oh, like a demon, you know, ate their whole family or ate someone they care about. Not everyone's gonna have like a backstory like Mitsuri or Rengoku. But yeah, like it's a given at this point. I don't think it's they show dark backstories mainly because, like, I don't think they show it just because to make it interesting, the series interesting, but I do think there is a purpose, whether you like it or not, behind like why they set up the backstories the way they are. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, the finale, like you guys said, easily one of the best parts, if not the best part about the Hashira training arc. The cliffhanger, absolutely brutal. And I'm still, I mean, thinking about it now, I'm still not a fan of the way like they're gonna do the next arc in the form of movies. It really does seem like after the success of Mugen Train, like that's gonna be like Ufotable really wants to turn Demon Slayer more into like a movie franchise and get that, you know, box office cash cow going on.
It worked for the Mugen Train, so
yeah, it worked for Mugen Train. So yeah, I mean, you might as well do it for other arcs, I guess. But still.
It's actually crazy. After the Hashira training arc that we just had, I think they're only working. Well, we haven't got more information on Genshin, but they're working on 3 movies now. Well, if you want to count Demon Slayer's multiple movies, they're working on the Witch of the Holy Night with Madlad mentioned earlier, and they're working on that Token Rambu movie too. So there's like
I think that project's dead, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's like they're not working on any TV anime right now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Well, Genshin Impact probably be a TV series, but we haven't got any more information on that. But it's still kind of great.
We haven't even got a second trailer, like not since 2022, I think. So
yeah,
damn, it's been that long actually. Holy, I mean, to be honest though, like. Ufotable, I think they're one of the studios that focus. Like, I think it's made mainly down to like the director of the studio or the board, like saying that, look, Ufotable Demon Slayer make us this much money. It's an international anime at this point. I think it's best we focus all our budget into this to make it work, so that the BD sells, so that the popularity improves, so that the marketing can help deliver to the remaining movies and remaining arcs. Cause don't get me wrong, I understand this sort of this sort of like approach to the tactics now. Also, I think I might as well let you guys know this because someone told me this on my Discord. There are only like 70 chapters left now, so we're not far off now to the end of Demon Slayer. So I think it's best, like, you know, they might as well put all the energy into this final remaining 2 arcs. So that, you know, we can make it work in the end, so that it sells in the future. But again, though, I'm not a fan of it. But it's business. Like I said, one of the GIF I put in one of the comments, it's business. So
yeah, I mean, I'm under. A lot of people criticize that, you know, it's the movie structure is gonna ruin the flow of the arc, which I'm starting to understand. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about the money, I guess. It's all about the cash.
It's business.
It's business.
No hard feelings.
Yeah.
It's business.
Well, who knows? They could, if they do have another season after the 3 movies, they might do what they did with the Mugen Train.
Oh, don't even get me started with that.
They might have the whole they might have the whole first half of a season, the 3 movies just in TV format.
Oh, I remember
Jesus
that.
Christ!
Oh,
don't even get me started.
2028. or 2029. You know.
Oh no,
Dude, don't even get me started with that approach with the Mugen Train one. I was so angry with it, to be honest. So
damn! I completely
I
forgot
still
all
re-
about that.
funny enough, I still reacted to it, but I was not a big fan to it.
I still reacted.
Yeah,
I think I
they'll
still
have a
reacted to it
whole-
too.
They'll have a whole another 2 cores or
Is this gonna be 2 cores of
Yeah,
just
half
movie
of it.
content?
half of it's just recap from the movie.
It was already annoying enough that they make a movie for the final episode of season 2 and then season 3 and then put in the first episode of the new season. Like I get it, they want to make the money, but is there a really good reason to do something like that, other than allowing leakers to put the episode up early so that people can watch it beforehand? Yeah, thanks. So. Whatever, man. Whatever. We just have to wait until next year for the first movie, anyways. The one thing I'm looking forward to now is the trailers. So I can't wait to see what's the first trailer look like. Who's gonna be the first Upper Moon they're gonna
trailer
fight?
looks
So,
hype, at least.
huh?
I say that I think they did release a trailer, like a teaser, like a little.
That
a
does
little,
not that does not count as a trailer, in my
Okay.
opinion. So
Okay.
I don't count
Makes
that as a
sense.
trailer.
Yeah. Okay. It makes sense. Yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
Other than that, Demon Slayer Hashira training arc, I enjoyed it. Not as good as the other arcs, but I still enjoy this more than other shows in the spring season. So yeah, I think we are ready to move on. Next up on the list is Konosuba season 3.
The final 3 episodes is
Watching.
the best part of the season of this season. So yeah. La Latina again stole the spotlight. I mean, to be honest, as a massive La Latina fan, this is a massive W. So I enjoyed this season because of the final 3 or 4 episodes. The princess arc, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but what was the point of it other than allowing Kazuma to gain some character development moments? But yeah, I mean, the princess arc was quite, not gonna lie to you, was quite random in some ways, but I mean, to be honest, I think the princess arc was more like allowing Kazuma to really shine as a person a bit more than how we saw him for the past two seasons and the movie. And yeah, I mean, the La Latina engagement arc, it was more like just one of the one that I really stood out to me for the season, especially like how La Latina behaved differently compared to how she behaved. Well, she's still La Latina, but the way that she behaved in this arc is just like, wow. I haven't seen this side of her ever. Like how serious she was, how she tried to seduce Kazuma and Kazuma rejected her. So yeah, that was a fun scene though. But still, La Latina stole the spotlight in the final 4 episodes, and that's basically what saved Konosuba this season. You have to be honest with you guys. So yeah, nothing more to say about Konosuba.
I would say I think I talked about this in the last thing we had, but like I feel like this is probably the closest we've had to season 1, at least in terms of like the TV anime. I did like the movie a lot, but I feel like this season felt a lot more like season 1 to me, because season 2, like the thing with Konosuba is like if the comedy's not hitting, then I don't think you're getting really much out of it, because that's the biggest thing is I feel like the comedy. Yeah. So like season 1 still probably my favorite out of all the inserts in the series, but like season 3 here I actually really enjoyed it. Probably the most I've enjoyed Konosuba since season 1, so I'll take that. And I do feel like there was some, especially with towards the tail end of the season, like Mad Lad mentioned, I feel like some real wholesome moments, like just with the group kind of getting back together and all that. And I mean, we knew it was going to happen, obviously, but Darkness getting her focus, I did appreciate that. I did like that, but yeah, I really don't have much more to say either. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I just feel like at this point, like it's Konosuba, you know what you're getting. But
You already know what to expect.
yeah, like if you're someone like me, I mean, season 2, I've always said I didn't enjoy nearly as much. Like season 2 is just kind of whatever to me. It was just like all right, and it it didn't obviously stop me from watching the series, but maybe if someone was kind of like hesitant or whatever going into this season, like, oh, I didn't enjoy season 2 as much, definitely, you're probably already checking it out anyway, but check out season 3 because I feel like this is probably the closest we've had to season 1. At least that's how it felt to me. So I was pleased with this season of Konosuba. I feel like it was a good bounce back because of season 2, and then even that Megumin side story thing was just like, I love Megumin, but that side story TV thing we had, I wasn't really crazy about that either. So yeah, this was a good bounce back, I'd say, for Konosuba.
All right, and if you guys have nothing else to add, then I think we can move on. Next
Oh
up,
yeah, by the way, breaking news: 5-4 season 3 being announced. So
oh,
Cool.
lovely! I never finished season 1, but cool.
yeah, so season 3 comes out next year, April 2025, and finishes around January 2026. So it's 2 course with a break in
Nice.
between. So yeah, 5-4 is back after 4 years. Damn.
And I'm ready for Twitter to be up in a riot about Tamaki fan service once again.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what everyone looking forward to that stuff. Okay, let's move on to the best part of the last season.
Oh boy,
Tensei.
Mushoku Tensei, season 2, part 2.
Yep.
Man, this arc was,
A roller coaster.
man, yeah,
It was a
coaster,
roller
for sure.
coaster.
It was, but
A
it
roller
was,
coaster.
it was it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. It really was. I feel like just a wide range mix of emotions with this part. Oh man,
Father's Day episode.
yeah, the Father's Day episode. The monologue that we had with Rudy at the end of the last episode of this part. Like, I just like get scenes like that, and I'm just reminded. I tweeted about this, but like I'm just reminded how much I really do love this series. Like Rudy was saying, like, oh, like I can't quote him word for word because I don't remember, but he was saying like, oh, how he's gonna go on like living in this world, like this is what Paul would want him to do, and things of that nature. Like, I just love that monologue, and then like the little touches they have on it, where like the breeze came by, and then he like turned around and looked. Like that was just,
Yeah.
you know, I get stuff like that, and I'm just like, man, I just. Like, yeah, there was some little bumps maybe in the especially the prior part, but like still overall I love this series, and I just like getting stuff like that was, and even the episode where they're fighting in the dungeon with everyone, like that was just the animation in that episode, and you know obviously what transpired in that was
It's not often I actually
amazing.
like focus on animation, especially for this show. It has good animation, but seeing that fight with the dragon over there, I was very, very focused and intense during that scene because
Yeah.
that was so well done. To
Yeah,
add that, and then the scene with Paul at the end, and then everything going on with his mom after that, that was such a powerful episode.
yeah,
Because for me, it's like, yes, because the build up for what happened to Paul, I could already see it because he was like, "I'm gonna tell you something after."
oh, the
After
flags
this.
were there.
Y-
Yeah,
Yeah, the flags were there already. So I wasn't surprised, but I was still shocked to see, because I was expecting him maybe to just, maybe pass away, but he's been sliced half,
yeah.
and
And it was to save Rudy on top of that. So it's like,
right, because that's the thing, and this is the thing he didn't say to his little sister. He's kind of the reason why he passed away.
yeah, he
Actually, because
hesitated.
he hesitated. Yeah, he didn't say anything because she asked like, "Could you have done anything?" And he said, "No, no, no." But
He's like, I did my
actually,
best, or I think I did my best, or
yes,
something like
yes,
that.
he did. He didn't say that what actually was the cause, which I understand because that will create a lot of guilt for him. He already has fixed his relationship with his little sister, and if something like this happen, it can break once again. So it's difficult for him. But yeah, but to add that, I mean, because I was already shocked with what happened with the dad, but then they add the stuff with the mom at the end and her talking like a baby with the amnesia. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That which actually made it a lot more touching because I don't know if you remember in the last episode when they told the rest of the family in the house that father passed away and they had these belongings on the
Oh, she was
table.
holding it.
Yes, he was
Yeah.
holding it and they were grabbing it like that. So I was like, there's got to be some part inside of her that still remembers him
Yeah.
somehow. Now I do wonder if she will ever be healed. They said something like that will never happen, but we'll see. And
Yeah, I
then
think
we'll have to explain everything to her.
Yeah, I think Alina Lee said something about it being like impossible or something like that, or near impossible. But
Mm.
yeah,
And then also we have Roxy now as the other wife.
Yep.
Actually,
That's
I
Rudy-
heard
that
Rudy
really
did-
spurs up some controversies.
yeah, of course. Rudy
Yeah, I mean-
does not deserve Sophie though. Like he really does not. Like,
no. She was like, yeah, well, I expect this.
Yeah,
You know what
literally.
you know what I reacted to though is that when they were sitting by the fire after they slept together and he was on the way here, he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can be with the Roxy because I promised Sylvia I would be faithful." I was like, "Yeah, it's too late. You already slept with her."
Oh,
Okay,
Norn was
can't-
going crazy on him.
Yeah, I can't break this promise. You already did.
Yeah,
It's too late.
it's already over.
Yeah.
The deed's been done, bro. Like,
Yeah. One thing
Norn going in on his ass though was literally like probably a lot of people as viewers like they probably like literally felt like, oh, that isn't me right now, like what Norn is doing.
But for me,
Jeez,
it's Mushoku Tensei. You expect. I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
And also, you gotta remember, like, yes, he is Paul's son. He takes after his father, so I'm not surprised. Not to mention, I said this a few podcasts ago when we were talking about the first core, that he's a gray rat, and gray rats seem to be very popular with women. He wasn't very popular with women in his whole life, but now when he's gray, it comes by itself. So maybe that's just a gray rat thing.
Mhm.
Now, one thing I did I read the Crunchyroll comments afterwards. The first thing people say is that apparently they skipped a lot of important stuff in that episode when they slept together. Apparently,
like in
I-
any light novel readers, like any
Yeah, I heard
light
about that
novel
too.
adaptation goes.
yeah, like I understand, also it's with light novels, you have to skip stuff. It's very difficult, but that part was actually for me quite important to add about the Elena Lisa telling her.
Yeah,
But overall, I think this was a very enjoyable season. A lot of emotions, as you say. I love this show very much, and also I'm very happy that we're gonna announce the season 3. I'm not surprised because they did say like, well, we're gonna adapt the whole story. I think they said that a long time ago.
yeah. Like at the
And-
very beginning, they said they planned
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do it all.
And at the very end, also they showed Eris.
Yep.
So we can kind of expect now what will happen in season 3. So yeah, I don't have anything else to add. You kind of said a lot of the things also that I wanted to say.
You know what's crazy that I was I've talked about this with some of my other friends and just thinking about like, say hypothetically if Eris was there during the fight or like Ghislaine, for example, I feel like that would have never happened with Paul. Because Paul, like the whole strategy that they had was like slicing off the heads of the Hydra
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
If they had someone who was like really good with a sword, like Eris there or like Ghislaine, I feel like it would have been way easier than it was. But they didn't. The way the party was kind of, I guess, formed or like what they had available to them was it didn't really. It was like Paul kind of doing a lot of the work. So.
Yeah.
Because that was the best way to go about fighting it. So I feel like it's like, damn, if they would have had Eris or Ghislaine. I know it's like a what if thing.
Especially Ghislaine. She
it's just kinda,
knows how to fight.
Yeah, it's just something to kind of think about. But yeah, I'm really excited for the next season because obviously we're gonna see with the tease, Eris is gonna come back at some point, and
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see that reunion. Actually,
yeah. I think like probably everyone has to be.
yeah.
Well, I would say that the next season will be out in 2026, apparently, according to strong rumors. So,
Yeah, that
well,
makes sense.
I don't really
like-
care. I mean, I
there's
just
like
want,
2
I just want a new
years.
season.
Yeah, there was like a 2-year gap between the first season and second season.
Yep.
Too. Makes sense.
Well, I mean, to be honest though, like Mushoku Tensei, yes, I understand that they want to go all the way, but you do know that the studio buying is, I don't know. I heard rumors, I heard stuff saying that the studio is starting to show signs of losing some money. That's why some of the quality of animation is dropping. You can see from evidence from some of the episodes. So I do wonder whether it would be the same studio or were they just gonna change studio. But I'm hoping studio buying stay loyal to Mushoku Tensei. But sometimes these, like I said, business decisions are made. So yeah, let's just hope that we Mushoku Tensei able to come back in 2026 with the same studio, same animation quality. Well, we just have to wait for Anime Japan next year, though, because I feel like that's where we get more information.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, by the way, I just realized something. Bleach just dropped a trailer, so I might have to jump out after the Day Alive section. I'll just jump out of it later. But yeah, I want to make a short YouTube short reaction to it. But going back to Mushoku Tensei, yeah, definitely this season, for me personally, it's just a much better part of the second season, and especially like how they go about to tell the story of Rudy starting to realize that how important family is and how important the father is and how much Paul really meant to him, not just as a father but as a friend. I would say in this case, when coming to this world, because when he came to this world, Paul was the one that engaged the most with him, teaching him about life. Well, yeah, life before Roxy comes in, and the mom. Not gonna lie to you, I don't really see a lot of her with Rudy. That's why I can understand why I can understand why Rudy was. I don't know.
He kind of said the same also.
He was feeling a little bit frustrated when the mom about the mom being trapped inside the crystal situation, because I don't know. People told me this on Twitter, is that apparently Rudy never liked the mom until the whole mission to rescue her. You can see that Rudy never really wanted to mention anything regarding to the mom. Like, he never really showed any signs of concern. He only cared about his wife, his new happy life, and the mom.
Well, it's kind of understandable,
yeah,
in a way, because there's such a big gap of time where they, especially with the teleportation thing, like, and how he went away off to study, like, there was such a huge gap of time where he hasn't spent with his mother. The time he hasn't spent with his mother, so it kind of makes sense that like there's kind of like that distance there, or just like it's not typically what you would expect with a mother and son, relationship, because they say that that's like the strongest bond is like a mother's, relationship with their child and all that. So that's why I'm hoping they do find a way to cure the stuff with her, because I would like to see that explored more, as them kind of, just their relationship in general, just to see, where that goes, like mother-son relationship. But
although I've been told that from light novel readers that this is where the real test now begins for Rudy, because he goes now with Roxy joining the family, there will be a lot of challenges come his way, and one of the challenges is what Hitogami might do to Rudy now. So that's why I say, so you're telling me this is where the fun begins now. Okay, cool. I look forward to it. But either way, though, I'm glad Roxy is now part of the family. As much as it kind of displeased me in terms of the fact that Rudy broke, Sylvie promise and stuff. But it's part of the isekai culture Yuru is from. As much as I don't like it, it is what it is. Let's just allow Roxy to be happy too, and allow Sylvie. I mean, if Sylvie give it the big okay, then there's no complaint. So, I mean, I'm glad that, to be honest though, I'm kind of glad that Norn spoke up to Rudy about this, talking for our stead. So, like to be honest with Norn, I never really liked her ever since she came to Rudy's life. But then because of the last episode, I was like, huh, she's a lot better than I thought she would be. So definitely I'm gonna keep my eyes out on Norn a lot more now. But oh my god, definitely I'm so excited to see what the new season holds, because I've been told that now Rudy's life is going to be tested, where he had to protect his family now. So
There was actually I think it was on Twitter, some funny stuff where people commented like, when he introduced Roxy to Sylphie, it was like a Rentaro moment from 100 Girlfriends. You know, when he shows one of his new girlfriends.
at least that show is actually known for introducing the new girlfriend, and the girls have no choice but to accept that if they don't, they die. So this is different. This is a little bit different compared to one new girlfriend.
Here she is. Yeah.
I brought to another one. It's probably going to happen with Iris too. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, here's Ares, my next wife.
I swear to God. I swear to God, if Ares comes in and say, "Oh, I want to be Rudy's third wife,"
bro, okay, it would be understandable, like if he didn't bring in Roxy, but now that he's brought in Roxy, it's like, okay, like you would assume that it's going to happen as well with Iris, right? Like,
yeah. I don't think it's going to happen with Sora, though.
No. But
all right.
Wait, I mean, I remember someone said this to me, and I'm gonna allow Kawaii to come in before we move on to the next session. I think someone told me this like on Twitter that when Paul passed away in that moment right there, there was another dialogue moment building that Paul said before he dies, and that
the voice,
dialogue,
the CD thing or whatever, So I listened to that, and that was
touching.
Yeah,
that was touching. Right?
I wish they could have included that somehow, but
I mean, death by silence, it still works though. But yeah, I kind of hope that was included, but oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, ready to move on to Day Alive, everyone.
Day Alive Season 5.
Since I'm not watching this one, I'm gonna make some food.
Okay, cool.
No worries, man. No worries. I still gonna put in my thumbnail, by the way. So, yeah, Day Alive Season 5. By the way, before we say any more, we will get Season 6. People on Twitter try to rattle me by saying, "Oh, this is the finale of Day Alive." Yeah, not in my book.
That's certainly how it felt.
Yeah,
that is not in my book.
It ended how it started.
I don't want to give you guys spoilers. I truly do not want to give you guys spoilers. I mean, Kawaii was already spoiled already, but
yeah, you already spoiled it on Twitter, basically.
Oh my god, I was not gonna lie to you. I have mixed feelings with the finale because, oh my god, can I say it, man? Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! All I can say is that don't expect this to be the final season. We will get Season 6. It's all now down to the BD sale. It's all now down to the Blu-ray. By the way, I just bought the Blu-ray, so I'm putting money into this. So yeah, Day Alive Season 5 definitely ended in quite a interesting note, I would say. I mean, obviously for me as a fan, I love the moment when Mew sacrificed herself in this case, but it kind of spurred up quite a conversation, I would say, regarding to Miyu Takamiya in terms of her, character development in this case. I don't think there were much character development. It's more like her approach to this whole situation that we are in. You guys remember back in the podcast we did, like 2 months ago? Let's just say we all say Mew is dad, Mew this, Mew that, and now you guys see this Mew with the reverse timeline fixing. How do you guys really interpret her? Is anything differently or anything like the same as we said back in May? Because like the topic I want to discuss right now is that is Mew really be forgiven for the crimes he committed back in episode 4, 5, and 6? So yeah, go for it.
I don't think I can forgive her because the scale of like what she did is just I feel like it's inexcusable. But still, I do feel for her character because it is a tragic character, especially in the way that she was like essentially brought into the world, right? And yeah, I still can't, even after what we had at the end of the season 5, I cannot excuse what she did. No, that would be what I would say to start off, at least.
Why?
Well, I kind of agree. I mean, as Yoshino's father, I have to say I can't forgive someone for killing my child, even though it did technically happen in another timeline. But yeah, as Memory said, I understand that she is indeed a tragic character because, I mean, considering the circumstances that we know now, considering that the fact that Shinji was really the first person that she's ever loved, and the relationship they had together. So I mean, you can kind of understand why she did the things she did, but do I forgive her? Like fully forgive her? I mean, I don't. I mean, I at the very least understand her motivations to an extent, but I don't know if I don't know if I can definitively say that I forgive her or not. I will say though that going back to her being a tragic character, the finale, I know there were complaints about the final episode, the way it ended, and I'm pretty sure we can say that. I'm pretty sure you can say that the anime. It was an anime original finale, basically. I think you could say that. I don't think it counts as spoilers. You can say that it's an anime original. I think you can still say what they changed and didn't change for the light novel. But I would prefer if you didn't mention the whole theory that you mentioned back on Twitter. But yeah, the way the final episode, the way that season 5 ended, despite being an anime original, I will say it was. I still think it was pretty sad. I mean, because you could tell, like, Shido really, really treasured, I guess both Shido and / Shinji really treasured the time that he had with Mio / Reina. So, I still feel for Shido. I still feel for Mio at the end. But, yeah, I'm not sure if I can definitively say if I can forgive her or not.
Well, I mean, you guys have a very strong argument there. Not to be honest, though, for me though, I am more on your side than on the other side because even though I can understand your case in terms of like, oh, I was born to this world. Shin is the only person that I know. Shin is the only thing I fight for to protect and to love. And if anyone gets in my way of love, they will be punished for it. I mean, remember this: she was born to this world like an infant, and she basically
like
she has
the mind of a child.
So she's basically acting like a child. Yeah, exactly what Memory said. And she acts like a child. And when a child wants something, they would do it. They would just want to do whatever it takes. And even though Miu is like more of a mature child, she is a child because she was born to this world as like an infant, doesn't really know much other than when she reads books, her brain able to grab information quickly, but her mentality is a child, and she doesn't really think things through when she just remember. I think the scene that pretty much sums up Miu as a character was a scene where she had with Kotori. That scene in the burning ship when she straight up told Kotori this: Kotori, I love all of you guys. You guys are my best friend. I cherish you guys for the past 30 years. However, my love comes first, and I don't care whoever has to sacrifice. As long as I can be with Shin, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
And she cold-heartedly killed everyone, and especially
so Kotori. Like us, the viewer, we're like, okay, the weight of that is like, okay, like no, like not at all, no. But like from her, if you're looking at it from her perspective, the mind pretty much of a child, like she probably doesn't grasp how like crazy or like the weight of
exactly.
That. Yeah, like which is it's insane, but like because us the viewer were like, no, like that's fucked up, like that's terrible, it's inexcusable. But then like you can kind of understand, like from her perspective, especially how she's written, and just like the circumstances around her. So like, a part of me does get it, but I still can't fully, like I said, I still can't fully excuse her actions.
Yeah, dude, no one can. I mean, if you excuse it,
Yeah.
then you're no different to a serial killer. Then, just that's what the serial killer would say. Yeah, because like they say, oh, I love you guys so much, but I love to kill. That's basically what I think. That's how I really interpret like that. But again, though, I understand why Miu did it. She wants Shin so badly. She spent 30 years trying to create crystallized spirit crystals to put into the girl so that Shido can absorb them, and then when Shido become a very like absorb enough spirit power inside of him, she gonna erase Shido's memories and restore Shinji's memories. That was a tactic for the past 30 years. However, the last 2 episodes of the season pretty much also says the fact that she's doing this so that Shido, or in this case maybe even Shinji, could be the one to end her, because she actually understands that she's a walking nuclear bomb. She's dangerous. She is very hard to be stopped. Yeah, she can see from how the spirits try to fight her off. But I mean, I totally understand why she wants Shido to take all the spirit power in and that, and pretty much like be how do you say that? Be there to like stop her when she loses control of her powers, which actually could happen. But also the fact that it can say that because she also loves Shinji so much that she doesn't, her mind never really focus on anything else. I mean, when she created Reine, I would say that Reine reflected more on how Miu could have been if she spend longer time with Shinji and stuff, able to get to understand loving companionship and stuff. Like you can see Reine being very supportive to Kotori, to the others, and being helping them with the spirit thing. But in the end, though, it's all heartbroken moments, I would say, for everyone when Reine, or in Miu's words, that she only doing this for the sake of resurrecting Shinji. And she was only being supportive so that one, they do not suspect her for being somewhat connected to Phantom, which she is Phantom. Two, so that they're on track of getting Shido to absorb the spirit, and three, just to make sure that everything is all according to plan, like making sure that the spirit doesn't lose control, making sure that DEM doesn't really fully get in the way. And so she was just there as Reine, just to Reine was there just to make sure that everything is going according to plan. Although I'm not sure about the origami part. I feel like I don't know whether that was all calculated from Miu, or that is just she wasn't really anticipating that origami can lose control, can cause the end of the world. Because I feel like Phantom, aka Miu, could easily step in to stop origami from losing control in the first timeline before Shido changed the future. Hey, by the way, Shido changed the future again. So, my God. So going back to the past is the right solution to change the future. If only we have the leisure of doing that nowadays. But yeah, I mean, definitely you can say that Miu. There are people that say, okay, we can't understand her actions. Maybe we should somewhat forgive her. But for me, though, as someone that's a Master Families anime, not fully on board saying that Miu did nothing wrong, but I'm on board saying that Miu was a tragic character. She was born to this world by mistake because of Westcott. Well, Westcott was the one responsible for all this shitty mess. But again, though, she was born to this world and she was an infant. All she knows in life is love, and all she knows is that she needs to make sure that this love feeling that she gained from Shinji is protected and maintained so that she can have a reason to live in this world. But also, she's a walking nuclear bomb, and she wanted Shido to be the one to end her because Shido's the closest person that have the capabilities of fighting her off. The reason why Shido didn't win the fight against her in the middle of the season is because Shido was emotionally fragile because of all the stuff that happened along the way. You know what I mean? So
the stuff. Yeah.
So that's why Shido wasn't in the right mentality to fight Mew back then, and you can see the struggle he was having. And Mew was just on fire, man. Mew just had all the spirit in her grasp now, and if nothing goes away, she's just gonna Thanos snap anyone out of the Thanos snap. She has the ability to Thanos snap. So, oh my god, yeah. I think what Mew did in the middle of the season was enough to make people see her in that way now, rather than giving her a second chance. Well, her second chance comes in her last episode where she fight for everyone's sake because of Shinji and Shido saying that Mew, you should just appreciate this world. Come with me. I'll show you the better side of this world, rather than just one single-mindedly trying to resurrect Shinji. There are ways to fall love this world and stuff. So I'm very glad that Shido. And that is, by the way, that is not Shinji. That is just a projectile version of Shinji in Shido's world that he projected when he had the conversation with Mew. The real Shinji came when Mew died and she reunited with Shinji. That was the real Shinji. But yeah, let's just say that what Shido said to Mew in the encapsulated world was, I would say, is more like a lecture, more like one of those like lectures that your parents give to your child. That's sort of like viewpoint I had, because Shido trying to tell Mew what you've been doing is not the right way of doing things. You doing this, you're gonna hurt yourself more than bring happiness to yourself. Because trust me, Mew is a good girl. It's just that because she was like a little bit more mentally fragile, mentally scarred from all that incident that happened 30 years ago, and all the pain she went through in terms of like trying to find ways to save Shido, find ways to bring him back, bring Shinji back, and all the experiments she's been doing, betrayal, and just backstabbing some of the people that she worked with, aka Kurumi. Yeah, you can say that she's actually hurt from doing all that, but she have no regrets of doing all that. That is crazy. That's just crazy when I put it that way. So
yeah, it is.
She has no regrets of doing all that. So
I got a kick out of the part when Shido was trying to go all like Giga Chad with Mio, and she just like kind of laughed at him. She was like, "What are you doing?" She was not having it on the beach.
Shido's just doing Shido things. So
yeah, I got a kick out of that though. But it's literally like with Mio, it's like you took, because not all of the, like even the spirits, like they did some pretty messed up things. Like some of them did some pretty messed up things themselves. Like you could bring up Kurumi especially. But it's like you took all of the things that, like any of the bad things that the spirits have done, it's like you took them all together and just like combined them, and that's like the magnitude of what like Mio did, and then some. It's like way like more than even that.
Okay, in Kurumi's defense, she kills all the bad people, not the good people. So all the statistics you guys saw in the first season was all bad people. So yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Didn't she like kill a couple people? Wasn't it like something with a cat?
Those are thugs that trying to hit on her.
No, there was like, I might not be remembering it correctly because.
You mean the forest scene? Yeah, because they were hurting the cat. The cat.
I don't think it was like. Was it justifiable to kill them?
I also, to be honest, she needs them. She needs them for her life energy. So, because remember, she's a ticking life. Her life force is ticking away every time she uses the power.
I mean, she gotta stop them somehow. Yeah. I don't think Zap killed.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, can we really excuse that though? But like,
no.
It's like you took that. It's like you took that, and still, what Mio did in comparison, it's like night and day. Still,
Well, to be honest, though,
but that just tells you how crazy.
Have you seen her done anything after that? Not really. So,
and plus,
Not
it's
really,
not like
but-
it's not like Zapkiel gave her a taser or anything like that. I think you gotta handle it one way or another.
yeah, either she grabbed him to hell or she just killed him. So, yeah. Well, to be honest, though, what Kurumi did in season 1 left a scar for some Kurumi fans because that is not the Kurumi that we all wanted to remember. But again, though, like what Kurumi did back in season 1 was understandable, but again, left a scar in her heart in terms of knowing what she really is behind the scenes before Shido comes in, of course, and came in to save the day using his amazing talk no jutsu and saving her. Well, speaking of Kurumi, though, what do you guys think of her new form?
Oh, Raziel Kurumi.
Yeah.
It was great. Well, I liked it.
Anything
it's a
Kurumi
bummer.
is great.
Yeah, it's a bummer that we only saw a little bit of it though. It did give us a nice Kurumi ex Shido moment. The ship sailing
Well,
strong.
I mean, Kurumi was already in love with Shido ever since season 2, so she just never admitted it because she went from yandere to tsundere. So, yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, what Miu mentality back in the middle of the season is what I call yandere, a smiling yandere.
You know what?
So
I see that. I see that now. Yeah.
she was a yandere, man. She only cares about Shinji. She only cares about one thing in her life, and this is love. So, yeah, Mio's crazy, but Kurumi's also crazy. So let's have it like that. By the way, that's also goes to show that Kurumi has the capabilities of having able to use 2 spirit power inside of her. So that goes to show how great she is again. And of course the Razio form looks so good. By the way, there's already a figure selling which costs fucking $500.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Why does it cost $500? Oh, yeah. Oh God. 500 Australian dollars.
If
it's US dollar, it's 300 US dollars.
Okay. That's
Still
a lot,
expensive though, but
that's still a lot.
that's still a lot though. But yeah, definitely the final 4 episodes of the season. First off, I need to say this first. The final 4 episode, it left many non-light novel readers confused in some ways or form. I know. Hear me out. So, from what I read on Miami List on Twitter, some anime only fans say that, oh my god, so after all that, you're saying that this is literally Avengers Endgame art style where changing the past allowed the future to be better. That is some lame writing, to be honest. But in my defense, or to be honest, in anyone's defense, what other solutions do you have?
That's
Because
true.
Miu was literally on fire right now. She was in the groove to like get Shinji back and stuff like that. See, she erased Toka. She can erase anyone else getting the way. Mana was erased, by the way. Mana was disappeared from the world because she actually no. She sent Mana to the spirit world to have her there until she finished the job with Shido. So yeah, she can do something like that. She was on fire, man. All the spirit was dead. Who else you want her to fight in Shido's stead? So definitely time traveling was the only option, and it's not cliche anything. It's basically business of the moment. So, and again, who's the one to save the day? Kurumi. So yeah, Kurumi, she's smart. She knows what to do, man. She sent her clone to the future because she knows that there's no way of winning this war unless you send Shido back in time by reminding Shido that he has Kurumi power. So, oh my god, I am just so happy to see my girl getting so much love, man. Although anime trending's been shit lately, so I don't want to comment on that. But yeah, I gotta say, man, the final 4 episode, it's not bad. It's a not gonna lie to you. It's like from what I've been hearing, the weaker part of the season. I don't really see it that way. I see it as more like a closing arc for Miu, a closing end for Miu as a character, because Miu all we've been seeing is this side of her, but we never really see the true side of her. And what Shido exposed about Miyu being like doing this to not only bring back Shinji but also to end her, really start to maybe start to change people's mind about Miyu. But again, like we said at the start of this Their Life section, is that there is no coming back from Miyu after this, because Miyu committed a crime in the middle of the season. There's no fixing it. As much as she saved everyone from Westcott, which I'm glad Westcott is fucking dead now. Yeah, there's no like fully supporting her again. There's only like, okay, Miyu, we forgive you, but we still cannot fully forgive you. That's the best answer I can say for now. So yeah, DLI season 5 is basically Miyu arc, and now we have a solid conclusion to the Miyu arc. It's a beautiful way to close out, to end it, where Shido actually in the end do care about Miyu, but oh my god, I can't say this. If I say this, it's gonna be spoilers. But there's still more story to come. There's still more story to come for the finale. So that's all I can say for now.
Yeah.
But of course, you can say it's all now down to the Blu-ray sale. It's all now down to the sale of the light novels. I followed Tachibana Sensei, by the way, the author of They Are Alive. He even said that people should go read the remaining volumes of his light novel, but if everything goes well, there is a chance we might get a sequel. That's all he said. He didn't give too much away. He just said that if everything goes according to plan, there will be a sequel. But Tachibana Sensei, he is right now very happy about the finale of Their Life. He had no argument over how amazing the end of Their Life anime for this season, but he was not fully happy the fact that this is how they ended. Because I listened, on Twitter there's like a voice chat and stuff like that, the voice section.
The voice tweets.
Your voice tweet, yeah. He actually reacted to the episode after like 1 hour after the episode releases. I listened to it. And he actually talked about the episode and stuff. And he said that, oh, wow. He literally said this. Oh, wow. I can't believe Their Life ended there. I wasn't expecting them to end it there. So, yeah, I was like, oh, Sensei knows what the fan thinks. So, yeah, I gotta say, man, definitely season 5 finale was a mix of feelings around it for light novel readers. But for anime only, I'm very happy for you guys. I guess finally a happy ending. So, I'll leave it for that. So, any final thoughts of Their Life before we move on? Guys, I don't think we're gonna have any more Their Life conversation until season 6 announced. So,
whatever that's gonna be.
I mean, I feel like this was my favorite season. I would say. That's.
Oh yeah, by the way, regarding to what you say about you. Regarding what I say about what you said, this is your favorite season. This has to be everyone's favorite season, because this season is what revolutionized the mentality of all the haters. Because oh my god, when the haters saw this season, they were speechless. Trust me, they were speechless, and I was so happy about it. There were some cringe people trying to like still hate on this anime for some cringe reasoning, but I would say that this season is what changed people's mentality on Their Life. This is no longer your harem shit. This is some serious shit, and I'm so happy about that. And not just that though, also the fact that this season also tells the fact that Their Life is now heading to the end game arc. So that's what I'm saying too. So yeah, memory. Sorry I cut you off there. Go back, continue.
Yeah, I was just saying that this is definitely my favorite season. I feel like a lot of the, build up and just things that we've had over the past couple seasons have kind of all culminated, and in the payoff for this season especially was just like, and the reveals and all of that. We talked about this before too, but it makes you think about
all the hints being given back in season 1, 2, and 3.
A lot of the other things in the past that maybe you didn't think much of. But now it's like, oh shit, like there was a lot more to that than what I thought back then, which is cool when a series does that for sure. So that was something I really appreciated with this season. And I know you said there's more, but the way it's like, if there wasn't another season, I feel like this right here it kind of feels like an ending. Like if you didn't know about any of the source material, anything like that, and you just got what we had here, how it left off, I'd be like, okay, like I'm good with that. I'm good with this.
It's a pretty
like,
solid ending.
Yeah, it kind of has that feeling to it, especially like the whole like it ended how it started, right? Shido and Toka going on a date. Like that's literally, I feel like that's fitting, but I obviously know there is more content. But say hypothetically, if we never did get another season, I would be very content with this right here.
Oh, trust me, there will be peer pressure from the fans. There will be a season 6. There will be a season. I'm saying this right now. There will be a season 6. It's just I don't know how long we're gonna wait. I don't know how long we're gonna wait for it. Maybe 2025, maybe 2026 or 2027. As long as there's hope from the light novel readers, peer pressuring Kodakawa to give it a green light, I'm fine with it. So I would say that season 5 is by far one of the best seasons of their life, obviously. But I would still say the fact that season 4 has its good part about it, especially the final 4 episode with Kurumi arc. But yeah, definitely season 5 is something that really revolutionized their life, especially for the haters mentality. And I'm very happy with it. Although Geek Toys can still do better, but again, Geek Toys are a new studio. But I just say give full praise for Geek Toys for being very consistent with their adaptation, giving 4 episodes per volume, which never happened to their life ever since season 1. So yeah, definitely you can say Geek Toys know their assignment. I think their life now is Geek Toys' best anime they ever worked on. So it's fitting to see how Geek Toys really showed the love for it, especially with the key visuals, especially with some of the content they've been making outside of their live episodes, like the Kurumi birthday with the Kurumi picture, which I had to give them the full thanks for that. So for the time being, though, thank you so much for Geek Toys for your hard work. But hopefully you guys can come back with season 6, because I know that after season 5 they are bankrupt right now. So yeah, I would say that hopefully Geek Toys can find ways to get season 6 green lighted, and hopefully we can see season 6 very soon, because the story still has not finished yet. As a light novel reader, I can say that. So Kawaii Crew, have your final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with everyone else. I mean, this has to be maybe my favorite season of Daylight, season 5 so far. There's just a lot to like about season 5. As you have told me back in episode 2, like that was really the last time we saw like wholesome like cute moments from Daylight. Everything after that was when shit hit the fan, and that's exactly what happened. Shit really hit the fan. The stakes really went up high. And yeah, there was a lot to like. I mean, we got a lot of great moments. We got I think one of my favorite moments has to be with Toka versus Mio. I mean, yeah, even though Toka really couldn't really do anything against Mio during that whole fight in her little like reality marble, I will say like seeing her like really fighting for her life for Shido, and like just doing everything in her power just to at least try and like put a dent into Mio. That really endeared me, and I said this in my live reaction, I'll say it again. That moment, I mean, just like the amount of focus that she had in season 5, it really escalated her into like basically my top 3 favorite Day of Life girls. Before it was Yoshino, Kurumi, and Natsumi taking that place, but now I have to say I think Toka's my 3rd favorite now. And we also saw, not only that, but we also saw Kurumi. You know, we saw her playing also a big role in season 5 with her doing just so much, cooking up so many plans. And we also got a date with Reine, which I'm sure there's like, for those of you who have been sipping for Reine ever since season 1, I'm sure a lot of y'all are happy to see that. That was great as well. Oh yeah, and then we also saw, in the to season 1 in this season 5 finale, all the spirits, I believe all the spirits working together to fight Westcott. That was definitely great as well. And the way season 5 ended off, like I said, it was sad, but it was still a very solid ending. I mean, it had to be this way, kind of. Mio had to go out that way, pretty much. But it was pretty sad, but it was still a really solid finale. And there was just really a lot to like about season 5. We got, not just because we saw more of our favorite characters, but also just the amount of stuff that has been brought to the series. And like we mentioned in the last podcast, like, man, the way season 5 reveals like the mysteries and like the hints the author has been dropping ever since the very first scene of season 1. Like, it's crazy. It's one of the highlights. It's one of the ways that season 5 is just so good. And Matt, like earlier you mentioned like how the last 4 episodes confuse some people. I do still have some questions about the last 4 episodes. I know one of them being earlier you mentioned about how Mio is basically a walking nuclear bomb. I'm still surprised that Isaac's warships were able to hold her off for that long. That's why I'm still surprised that Isaac's warships were able to hold her off for that long, because like I feel like she would be able to like decimate all of his warships without a second thought. His whole armada, like just in an instant. Also, I don't remember if they really explained how Isaac became the second spirit of origin, because
he did what he did back in like the backstory where he created Mio, that he has the machine in this ready. He just needs the spirit energy from Mio, from Shido. So yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that like so is that from when Mio created that whole like reality marble with like Mio, Reina, and Shido and Shinji, like back in episode 11? Is that how it happened? Okay.
He has the machine that he had that created Mio in it ready. He just needs enough spirit energy to create himself a spirit of origin. I know they didn't. I know they didn't like really, show how he became it, but that's how he did it.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, other than that, Day of Light season 5, it was really fucking good. And I really do hope that we get a season 6 soon, because as we all know by now, there is still more content in the light novel. There's still more content.
3 more volumes.
Yeah.
3 more volumes.
Yeah. So I hope we get news of season 6 soon.
By the way, the voice actor for Toga is coming down to Australia next month, so I might.
And you're gonna meet her, I think. That's what
I gotta meet her. Are you also gonna meet Sakano Sensei? If she's the artist for the light novel arts, and I'm a big fan of it. Yeah, I may secretly say, will there be season 6? I may secretly. Obviously, the voice actors are in the dark. They don't know anything. But who knows? But yeah, definitely Day of Light season 5. My final thoughts is that best season ever. Definitely a season that many Day of Light fans been waiting to see for so long, and it pretty much is the season that will forever change Day of Light forever. And kudos to all those who stuck by Day of Light for the past 10 years. 10 years, by the way, of Day of Light.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no. 10 years, man, of Day of Light. And I'm very glad that it's still survived to this. Remember this, No Game No Life never got season 2. And it's already been 10 years. Day of Light already have 5 seasons. So it just goes to show how much love there is for the series, from the light novel readers, from the community, and from the cringe anime onlys. So yeah, I gotta say I'll look forward to see more announcements for Day of Light in the future. But for now, buy the fucking Blu-ray. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say, man.
I think honestly, one of my main gripes about season 5 is that we didn't get to see Natsumi's other form again. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. At least you get to see Yoshino in her ultimate form back in season 3. But yeah, I gotta say, this season is incredible for Kurumi fans too, but it's incredible season for Dear Life fans. And of course, in terms of performance-wise on Anime Corner Anime Trending, our best performance ever in our Anime Corner Anime Trending ever, man. That pretty much put the Dear Life on the map even more now. And of course, my Twitter has been performing quite well ever since my tweet. So ever since the Kurumi tweet. But anyways, thank you so much, Dear Life, for season 5 for your incredible season. Now, let's just hope the BD sells well and we're going to have a proper finale to Dear Life. Okay, that's all.
All right. Other than that, I think we're ready to move on. Next up on the list is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 3.
More like I was reincarnated into the meeting room part 2.
Yep. It's basically just more dialogue. We did get some stuff during the second
conflict,
half
but
of Core 1, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, which I've talked about this before, it's not like anything new really with Slime. I feel like we have had stretches like this in the series where there's a lot of like build up, there's negotiations, there's new factions that they're introducing like in the world, some that have apparently been working in the shadows and shit like that, that are now, I guess, coming to the forefront. We've had we have stuff like that going on. For the most part, I would say there's been a lot of meetings, there's been things of that nature. There was the part with like Hinata and stuff like that little conflict. I feel like the build up to it, because I don't know, I thought it was going to be the way they were building up to the Hinata conflict. I thought it was going to be something way more massive personally, but I feel like it was like, I liked what we had with it, with the content, don't get me wrong, but I feel like maybe I set expectations too high for myself, because I don't know, I just feel like how they were building it up, I was like, okay, they're really making this to be a big deal, but I just didn't really feel like it kind of hit on that or landed it. But
Mary, sorry to cut you off there. The Dead Live section is 40 minutes long.
40
minutes
not
long.
surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's only 5 minutes shorter than the last Dead Live.
Because we said all we need to say back in the first one. Anyways,
that's true.
Mary, sorry about that.
Yeah, but Slime, I honestly don't have too much to say about it besides what I've said. I still have been enjoying some of the content we've been getting with it, but am I going to sit here and act like this is like my favorite season of Slime so far? I know there's still like a whole nother half of it, so
apparently we're now going to some sort of tournament arc now, or labyrinth arc, because Reamer's building a coliseum, aka a UNESCO heritage tourist attraction in a city, so they can attract adventurers. My god, he's really dope. He's really thinking outside the box now in order to make his empire more relevant. So,
but I think to really judge this whole, like, we'll have to come back to it, like, to judge it obviously as the season as a whole. But at least the first core, I feel like it's like solid to me, but it's not like the Slime I feel like we're used to, right? And I feel like maybe that's more so like where the second half will come in. But I do appreciate Slime and just taking the time that it has, even before this season, to like build the world, build up the factions. Like, I really respect that, because I feel like you don't get that necessarily with a lot of isekais. Like, I feel like they really do a good job of kind of showing you the whole like scope of the world and like the factions of the characters that matter all around, and just how like certain events or certain things that happen, like how it affects other parts of the world and other groups and like their conversations and what they're trying to do in the world and things of that nature. Like, even like with all this I think about the previous episode, like with because I haven't watched the newest episode, but like with King Gazelle, like us going to him and kind of him talking about what's been going on lately. Like, just think, I really do appreciate stuff like that, because it makes it where, just from like the previous seasons, the stuff that we've had where you may not think too much of it, when it comes back and you're like, oh, so this is how this is how King Gazelle and his, country or his area, how they're kind of going about the current situation with Rimuru and Tempest and all that, and how they're kind of moving or planning. Now, obviously, they support each other and he trusts Rimuru, but it's just, I like getting little insights like that on characters, maybe like sometimes we haven't saw in a bit. So, yeah, I still, like I said, I still think it's a solid season so far, but I'm expecting more from the second half. So, in terms of judging the whole season, I got to hold off until obviously the end. But yeah, that would be my thoughts on it, I suppose.
Well, I mean, what you said right there pretty much sums up what I need to say or review. Anyways, it's mostly world building episode. We get to learn more about the politics around the surrounding nations. And yeah, I mean, if you want action and stuff like that, well, I don't think there will be a lot of it anymore because all of that is now been done in season 2. Season 2 is like what I call the action season, and now season 3 is more like the politics season. Because season 1 was more like the empire building season. Season 2 was more like the invasion season, where we were to learn to adapt to invaders now, and season 3 is more like politics. Basically, how I describe it is like after World War II scenario, where countries after a big battle, you have to come up with, now they have to find ways to get along with other nations, how to improve on the nations, how to rebuild the nation. And that's quite evident with how Rimuru is doing right now, because he's trying to rebuild the country to a better way, giving a monster a place to stay, trying to establish good relationship with other nations, because not only the fact that he wants to try to prevent what happened in season 2, but also he want other nations not to like view them in that way as a very threatening nation. They want them to see the Tempest Nation as a nation that it welcomes everyone and like welcomes people coming in to like resettle there, form relationship, form an alliance. So Rimuru trying his best to do that this season. Obviously, with Hinata and her doing her thing, it's not helping. But in the end, though, she learned that what she did back in season, she learned that what she did back in like season 2 was a mistake. So I'm glad that she acknowledged that. But yeah, definitely, you can say this season for me is more like politics season, where Rimuru go about to do his thing as a leader of Tempest, as a new demon lord, and trying to make the world better. And hopefully the upcoming tournament arc should be somewhat to get people interested again, because I can already see a lot of people are a little bit annoyed by it now, especially those who create content around this, saying that oh my god, I am getting no views for this. I might as well quit reacting to this. I'm not that person, by the way. I'm still making content, but I'm starting to start thinking about making YouTube short for this for now, because like for some reason YouTube short now does better than the full length reaction. So I was like, should I just focus on that instead now? But yeah, I gotta say, Tensura season 3, welcome to politics.
Welcome to world building.
Oh yeah, by the way, what speaking of politics, what do you guys think of the presidential speech?
I mean, do we really want to talk about that right now?
No, just your overall summary.
I mean, it was just hilarious to me, I guess.
Get as an American,
which is not how it should be. It should not be a joke. It should not be hilarious, but it was. So
as an American, get us away from this agony. I would much rather have. I would probably have anyone else other than the candidates we have right now.
What the hell did you guys end up with these two again? Unbelievable.
I don't know, man. But yeah, going back to slime, and my thoughts on it. Even though I'm reacting to this, I'm still reacting to season 3, but so far I have to say, yeah, it's pretty so far. It's just okay so far. Like we said before, the whole thing surrounding Hinata and the seven clergy, that was pretty cool. it was great to see like Diablo and like Diablo just wrecking shit, and then we also had Luminous coming in and just basically dissolving the 7 clergy, like the 3 of the members into like meat, basically. That was pretty gnarly. And it's nice that we got some character development for Hinata. It's nice that she doesn't hate Rimuru anymore, and it looks like not just her, but the Western Holy Church in general. It seems like they're now on pretty good terms with Rimuru and Tempest, which is nice because, as we probably all remember, they didn't really like Rimuru before that. In fact, I feel like they pretty much hated Rimuru before that. So it's nice they're on good terms now. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's been it's been mostly world building. It's been mostly just Rimuru building up Tempest. Right now we're at him basically just building the Colosseum, building his new tourist attraction, his new moneymaker. I will say the Labyrinth is pretty interesting, though. I've said in my latest live reaction that it's great. It seems to be great video game material, if it hasn't been adapted already in the Slime mobile game. And there's also some great mystery. Like, I'm still wondering, like, what Yuki's part in Season 3 is, because he's still kind of conniving things in the shadows. He still seems to be laying low for a while. I'm also interested in like we also saw like those like that one dude and his granddaughter and those 3 other people next to the fireplace. I can't remember their names, but yeah, I'm wondering what roles they're gonna be playing in Season 3. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have much else to say about Slime Season 3. It's okay so far. One thing I have to say, one thing I didn't bring up during the last podcast was that I still I like the OPs and EDs that we got for Season 3, but I still think that Season 2 Part 2, I feel like that's still my favorite like OP and ED combo. I feel like that's still, like, in terms of OPs and EDs, I feel like that's still pretty peak for Slime. Even though I do like the newest ED, we still it's nice that we got Mindarine back on the series' music. But other than that, Slime Season 3 is just okay for me so far. But yeah, any final thoughts, or are we ready to move on?
Yeah, I think we might as well move on to Kaiju. Allow good memory to have one last say to it before we move on.
All right, next up, Kaiju number 8. Yeah. What do you guys
start,
think?
Memory, actually.
What was that?
You can start.
Oh, I actually so I binged because obviously I'm not caught up with the manga, but I've read a good amount of it, and I actually was behind I stopped watching episode 5, so I binged episodes 6 through 12 in one night. And
damn,
yeah, I think I was, especially the final part, I feel like, especially getting more, because obviously they showed General Shinomiya before, but I think actually seeing him in action was really cool, especially how he fights with using the powers or using the things from the kaiju, which is something that you would think, right, you are going to see more of that as the series goes on, now that they've kind of, I guess, fully introduced it. So I really was pleasantly happy with how they left off the season, because I feel like, for me personally, I feel like this is the point where I really got invested into the series, because especially the situation, I enjoyed it before a lot, but I feel like from this point, especially the situation that Kafka was in, and I was saying this from the beginning, it's okay, it's inevitable, he's going to be found out eventually, and obviously that's happened. But now it is really an interesting situation because of how the others view him, how society potentially views him if it was, found out where, they're using a kaiju to fight. for them. There's a lot of things that, and then also from Kafka's perspective, like him trying to gain the trust of the people around him. Now, it's I think a very interesting dynamic that Kafka's kind of, or like that the series has, but a situation that Kafka's found himself in, and not of his own doing, because this just chance kind of happened to him at the very beginning of the series, obviously, but still, I think I don't want to say much, but it's going to be interesting, obviously, to see how things go along as the series progresses. But also, it's kind of interesting to note that, okay, General Shinomiya, he's using kaiju for his, he's using parts of kaiju for his abilities or whatever to fight. Say if that got out, like how would society and how would others kind of view that? Like, oh, they're using bits from kaiju. Like they're using kaiju powers essentially to fight, which it brings up a lot of questions, which I personally find interesting, at least. And I don't know, my thing with this series that I always enjoyed was I just liked how, as it goes along, you can really, or at least I felt this, especially when I was reading the manga for the first time, is that I just liked how the characters like all felt like they had each other's back, like in the group. I really liked that about it. Like everyone, kind of felt like they were there for each other, and that it was kind of like the next man up mentality, where it was like if someone was down, someone else was coming in there to kind of back you up, to be there for you. I really, it's not some complex idea or thing, but it's something that I actually really liked with this series, and I think how I was able to, get into a lot of the characters in the series. So, yeah, I was really happy with the first season of the anime. Obviously, we got the season 2. I was like, to be able to animate this series how they did was like super impressive because of the size of the monsters that you're dealing with. I feel like it has to be like a very demanding production. So I got to give props where props is due on that end, especially. But yeah, I liked this first season. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10. So I'm not going to sit here and say or act like it's the greatest thing ever, but I think they did. I think they did do a good job with the first season. And I probably, when I first read the manga, I probably, like, seeing the material again, I just feel like it didn't hit as much as me reading it for the first time. Because I think when I first started reading the manga, I probably at this point would have gave it like maybe around an 8 or 9 out of 10 from up until this point. But seeing the content again, some of it elevated, but seeing it again, I feel like it doesn't hit the same, because it's like, if you're a manga reader, like what's going to happen. So yeah, but that's probably all I would say for this first season. I enjoyed what we had with it. I feel like it especially left off on a stronger note the last couple episodes, for sure.
I don't know. When I watched Kaiju number 8, it kind of feels like one of those like scenarios where in Ultraman. I'm not sure how much you guys watch Ultraman, but there was this team that helped neutralizes the kaiju before the Ultraman comes in. That's what kind of reminds me of. But yeah, definitely what Memory said. Pretty much what I think pretty much sums up what most kaiju fans will say regarding to the series, in terms of everyone's there for each other. They fight together and they show they care for each other as a team. Show teamwork means greatness and stuff. And the fight scene did not disappoint by Protection IG. That was my biggest concern when coming to this anime, was how will Protection IG live up to the hype of the fight scenes from the manga. But they did a fantastic job with it. And not gonna lie to you, Kaiju number 8 is, well, to be honest, most people watch it for the action. Very few compliments the story, because it's very cliche in terms of how the shonen plot. But what Memory said there is very reflective on how organization work together in order to deal with things within the company and within the society. So it's good. It's a very good series if you're a big shonen fan and you enjoy a good action anime like this. But all I can say is that this season is just a prologue. The second season is where the fun begins. The real fun begins. All we saw this season is how Kaka now gets to live his dream. how you have a taste of reality of about monster extermination and stuff like that. But the second season is where I would say it takes the drama to the next level, and Memory can agree with me with that. So yeah, that's where the second season where I can say is what I'm more excited for than this season. Season 1 is like, yeah, the prologue stuff happens, and then second season is where the shit happens. So with that said, I'm looking forward to second season and next year, I guess.
All right, Anapod, you want to say? Because I know you haven't been talking in a while, so you want to?
Yeah, almost forgot how to talk actually. But I will start to say, that my thoughts about this one has changed a lot since we had talked in the first podcast. Because if you remember in the first podcast, I was kind of criticizing, why doesn't he tell people nothing's gonna happen? Things happen, and the story makes a lot more sense now to me. And actually, since I think in the second half of season 1, I really, really enjoyed this show actually, because the story makes more sense now. We're getting more into like more drama. Is I actually been moments where I teared up. For example, there was one scene where he talked to Mina in the car, like, "Can I get another chance to be with you?" That was actually very touching. So I would say the second season really, really impressed me. It really boosted up my score. I eventually gave the whole season 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
And as Madlad said before, if he says, this is like just the introduction and the real stuff is going to happen in season 2. And for them to actually build it up like they did in the second half, because I really, really enjoyed the second half, that just shows how much more I'm going to enjoy season 2. So I'm very, very excited for season 2. Also, as mentioned before, very good fighting scenes, very good animation. I'm very impressed with that. The biggest criticism I still have is the visuals for the OP. That's like the biggest.
I thought you were gonna say I thought you were gonna say how Kafka acts like a child.
Actually, that was annoying for me in the beginning, but
I feel like it did get toned down kind of as it went.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the humor has hit for me more lately. I would say also that's the reason. So overall, after watching the full season, I'm obviously very pleased. And the criticism I had in the first half kind of was gone actually. So very much looking forward to season 2. And yeah, it was a good show.
All right. Well, for me, all right, it's time. It's time for Kawaii Crew's hot take of the season.
I thought I was gonna have hot take here, but
I actually am not as fond of Kaiju number 8 as some other people might be. Now, I do like some things about it. I said this before, I do still like some things about Kaiju number 8. For one, I pretty much love almost all of the screen time that Mina had. I love the bond that the series has been establishing between her and Kafka, especially as the scene Anipode mentioned, the part during the van. And I'm aware that there might have been some people that have been not too fond of how she basically took Kafka into custody back in, I believe, episode 10. They were like, oh, how could she betray Kafka? He saved the whole world. He saved everybody by deflecting that nuke. How could she betray her like that? How could she betray Kafka like that? And as we all know, I think as we all know at this point, she's just doing her job. Like, she never really betrayed Kafka. She's under pressure by the higher ups. Obviously, if she wasn't under pressure by the higher ups, if she was the one in full control over everything, none of the stuff that we saw during the last 2 episodes surrounding Kafka, none of that would have happened.
The thing is that we also saw it in her eyes also when she did it. We saw like they were, when you see emotional,
like kind of twitching,
right. So she didn't want to do this, but yeah, as you guys said, she was just she has a very sensitive work, I would say. You know,
Mhm.
she has to follow orders, so I understand her.
I think if anything, it shows how like strong she is that
Oh,
in
yeah.
that
Oh
moment
yeah,
to be
she's very, very
in
mentally
that
strong.
moment to be able to do that. Like I think that says a lot about her for sure. But then you
I
get
mean,
the
even
scenes like you mentioned in the truck, and it's just like, okay, well, like
yeah, like
you see more how
she
she
doesn't
really
show,
feels. Yeah,
right. She
yeah.
doesn't show the same kind of emotion as Kafka does, but it's because yeah, she's very strong woman, very,
Hmm.
very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, but
Yeah,
that one scene in the boardroom where she explained all of Kafka's good points to the higher ups, that was really good. I really enjoyed that scene as well. And of course, one of the things that people always talk about when it comes to this series is the action, is the animation, which is undeniably very good and entertaining. But other than that, and then we also got some good, lots of other likable characters as well. But other than that, yeah, I can't really say I can give this series a high score. And one of the bigger reasons behind that is the way it handles Kafka. Now, basically, from what we saw so far, the way Kafka gets his powers is that he's in the hospital, a bug flies into his mouth, and all of a sudden he's fucking OP as shit. He's Fortitude like 9. I think no, was he Fortitude 9 or was he? He was like basically the strongest kaiju ever recorded in history. Now, I just don't. I'm just not a fan of the way that all happens. I don't like how Kafka is basically just OP for no good reason. And that's why I said earlier, back when we were doing our Demon Slayer
like
discussions,
Spider-Man.
yeah, I appreciate the way they handled the like in Demon Slayer's case more because, like I said, with Tanjiro, you can understand how like you see how he ends up becoming that strong. He had to train to develop his skills. He had to go through so much in order to become as strong as he is right now. Kafka, on the other hand, one bug flies into his mouth, and all of a sudden he's able to make kaiju explode. Like that, I don't like. I just don't like that. And also, and it certainly doesn't help that the like Kikuru and then Reno and Iaharu, like there were 2 times that we've seen where other characters have to rely on him in order to save them. And that just makes me concerned. Like now that Kafka is accepted into the defense corps now, or like now they're gonna use him as a weapon, it really does have me concerned as to how they're gonna handle his powers. Like in the defense corps as the series progresses, like are they gonna? I really hope like his powers aren't gonna be used as a crutch for like or like as a way to hinder the development of other characters because I really do want to see because I don't like it when like the OP main character has to do everything and save everybody. I want to see like other characters and other side characters be able to handle themselves in the face of a powerful foe. So I'm really hoping like I don't know if I'm going to be watching season 2 of this. But if I do eventually decide to watch season 2, I hope that this series proves me wrong in that regard. And also, I just don't like and as we mentioned before, yeah, I'm still not a fan of the way that Kafka still acts like a giant man-child. But luckily, as we've said, yeah, I'm glad it's been toned down during the second half of the season.
You know, there's a saying though: we are all a child inside.
Yeah,
We are
I
all
guess
still
so.
child.
I guess so. We
We
all
are
have
child.
our inner child.
We
Also,
are childhood inside.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Another thing I'm not really a fan. Another reason why I say I'm not really a fan of Kaiju number 8 is that, in general, I just don't feel like there's like aside from Mina and the action, I just don't feel like there's just much latch onto when it comes to this series. It's just not. I guess I can just say just not connecting to me as much as other shows did. But yeah, Kaiju number 8. I mean, I understand why people will like it. But there's a lot of people out there saying that, oh, it's anime of the season, it's peak, it's cinema, and I just can't really agree with that. If I were to give this a score, I haven't updated my anime trending, not anime trend, I haven't updated my AniList account yet. But if I were to give this a score, I'd probably give it maybe a 6 out of 10 or a 3 out of 5, as my scoring is right now.
To be honest, though, a lot of people say this anime of the year season is because they're short of tarts.
Yeah,
they haven't watched
pretty
a lot.
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They haven't really watched a lot of anime this season. Other than that, well, to be honest, though, I don't think they know that we still got the summer. No, not exclude the summer season. They totally forgot about the fall season, because fall season, oh my god, the lineups, man, holy cow!
I haven't watched the fall season yet. I have no idea.
You'll be shocked. You'll be very surprised with the lineups for fall season.
I think another thing that's going to be interesting to follow is, like, you know, we brought up the larva or whatever that, you know, infected him, gave him his power. Like the end of the season, how it seemed like the larva, you know, took control of him, right? And he couldn't really do anything about it. I think that's going to be something interesting to follow as the series goes along, because that was in front of the general, right? In front of Kikuru was there as well. Now you would just think, okay, what other scenes could the same thing happen to where Kafka does not have control? You know, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about before, is like the situation that Kafka's in, because, you know, he has to prove himself to the people around him that he does belong there, and that he is human, that he's himself. But now there's this, because we haven't really saw this before. We didn't see it before, you know, the end of this season. The larva just totally took control, where Kafka couldn't do anything about it, because before Kafka was like, okay, I can control what I'm doing. You know, I'm in control of this form. Like, I have this form, but I'm in control of it. But now that's not necessarily the case. So that's going to be something interesting to follow as the series goes along. I am not caught up with the manga, like I mentioned, so I don't know. From what I remembered, reading, I don't think they really expanded on the larva at all, like, that infected him. I don't really think they have went into much detail about its origins, or like what it's, you know, if there's a goal there, or if anything along those lines. But, you know, it's just think about who he was fighting. You know, he was fighting the general, and the general was using he had kaiju powers, essentially. He was using, you know, things from a kaiju number 2. So it is kind of something interesting to think about going forward, I would say, is like the larva, and how Kafka might not necessarily have control over himself how we saw before. So, but yeah, I actually have to dip out, guys.
Right.
I don't know.
I need to react to Bleach trailer, so I'll be back in 20 minutes, hopefully. So I'll see you guys in 20 minutes.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna be a little dual action.
Yeah, so the next 2 animes I have nothing.
Should I
to
leave
say.
a few little thoughts on something just in case I can't come back?
Actually, I might as well just leave one thought about Windbreaker. First half of the season, epic. Second half season, mid. Okay, off to Bleach. Off to Bleach reaction.
All right.
I don't know if I should say a few things, if you guys want me to, real quick before.
I mean, if you want.
I mean, the only thing really, I guess, Windbreaker I dropped, so I could just, I liked the first episode of Windbreaker. I really did. I was like, okay, like, I think this is something promising. And then they were fighting on a stage for like 6 or 7 episodes in a row, and I was like, they were trying to have these emotional beats with the characters and all that, and I just, at that point, I just did not care about the characters, so I did not care about anything.
Didn't you drop it?
Yeah, I dropped it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my.
I was only on episode 1 of first episode of those fighting scenes, and then I saw your tweet like, "Oh, they're just fighting."
It was for like.
Then I just
I don't even know if they're still doing it, but it was like 5 or 6 episodes in a row, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, I remember didn't you get like criticized for that on Twitter as well? Like, oh, it's supposed to be one fight. And
yeah, someone said
you
something.
you said like, oh, it's still ass.
like they were trying to have me understand. I was like, yeah, I understand, but that doesn't change the fact how I feel about it. I think it's ass. It's terrible. So, which it's opinion. But
I also saw your tweet on the whole. I think it was called Yozakura Family too.
Oh yeah. Which of course the manga readers like are gonna know if the character changes or gets better. Like how would I know? But from what we've got in Yozakura Family, the brother who has like the sister complex, like he was like my least favorite thing about the show so far. I guess that's something I could say on Yozakura Family. But a few other things I guess I would want to talk about is like Yuru Camp season 3. I didn't enjoy it as much as season 2, but it's still a Yuru Camp. I still really enjoyed it. I think you can definitely tell production-wise and like the designs, it's obviously not the same, but I still really enjoyed what we had with season 3. You kind of know what you're getting with Yuru Camp, just good vibes, chill, really fun cast, always a chill time. Hibiki Euphonium, I wish Ryu was here for that, but because I think we did talk about, we were going to bring this up in the podcast, but so much for that. Yeah. But Hibiki Euphonium, overall I enjoyed it. I still would say season 1 is probably my favorite insert still in the series, or like Liz and the Blue Bird. I would probably still say season 1 to be honest. But my thing with Hibiki season 3 was that like they were building up. I don't really want to spoil it, but they were building up for something with the main character Kumiko. At least it felt like they were building up for it. And then apparently they changed some material from the novel, and it didn't play out how they were building up for a certain moment. So that was kind of disappointing, but it also, the change that they made did make sense with the direction that Kumiko's like character was going, like for her future plans. So it made sense, but it was still kind of disappointing. And then also the thing with like Reina and the sensei, like her obsession with the sensei has always been one of my least favorite things in the series. And that was still a thing in season 3, especially in the finale. Like I loved the finale, but there's like 3 or 4 times in the finale where Reina's like talking about like, oh, I didn't like how you said that towards sensei, or like, I'm going to show sensei, blah, blah, blah. I don't care when it'll be, but I'm going to, I'll confess to him, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, oh my God, a part of me is like, man, thank goodness this is over, so I never have to hear or talk about the sensei again. Like, geez. But I still like Reina overall as a character, but there were some things she bugged me a little bit in season 3. I'm not gonna lie, especially because I put it on Twitter. She chose the hoes over the bros. She did.
Shame.
So, shame, very, very much so. But I still enjoyed season 3 as a whole. The finale was perfect. I wouldn't say perfect because I just said I had some little gripes with it, but it was a really, really good finale and still a solid season as a whole. But I did have some little problems with it. In terms of Shinigami Bocchan, I'm not gonna. I know Kawaii will probably. Both of you actually will probably go.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one later.
I just wanted to say, it was the payoff. Beautiful, man. Just beautiful stuff. Chef's kiss. Yes, it was everything you wanted and more. So yeah, I feel like I kind of made a little joke like, oh, finally, like it's like the old, time. It's like it's about time, or like the old woman meme where it's like it's been 90 some years, 84 years. But it was worth it. It was worth it. Yeah. That was definitely beautiful.
More like 84 years. It's more like 84 years for the other guy who turned into his usual self, the old man.
Oh yeah, that's Nico. Yeah. Nico. Yeah,
that's more 84 years. He's back.
Spice and Wolf has been good. There's a character they just introduced in the Spice and Wolf remake though that I was not a fan of.
So I've heard.
Yeah, I was not a fan at all in season 2 of the original Spice and Wolf, and they just introduced him. And when I saw him pop up on the screen, I was like, God, no. So I want to see how that plays out. But Spice and Wolf has been good, and they showed the daughter again So it really has me thinking that they may be doing the series as a whole. I hope so as time goes on, and maybe they'll get to the sequel, but we'll see. But all right, I'm gonna let you guys continue on now.
All right.
I might be back later. I'll see, but it's like 20-30 minutes there and then 20-30 minutes back. So
yeah, I mean, we usually still do podcasts by that time, so maybe if you
yeah,
come
knowing
back,
us,
so,
yeah.
yeah. So if you come back, please join again, and
Yeah.
we'll
All
just
right.
take it from there.
All right, guys.
All
I
right.
will be hopefully back, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know or keep you updated.
Yeah,
in the
let us
chat.
know as soon as possible.
All right. All right. Peace.
All right.
Yep, catch you later.
Peace.
Have a good one, everyone.
Yep, you
Thank
too.
you. You too. All right. So the question is now if we're gonna take a break until Madler comes back, and then
No, that depends. I mean, do you think that we can? How confident are you in us two doing a 2-man podcast?
I think that could work because I know we could do some shows now that I know Mad Out of Culture is not watching, probably. So I'm gonna check the ones. I'm looking at the list right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking like we could just go through like the order of the list as intended, and then like once Matlock comes back, once Matlock comes back, we can probably just go back, and then so we can hear his thoughts on the shows that we talked about.
I think we can do one skip though. One show that we could talk about right now actually is Train to the End of the World because he's not watching that one, and I know you're not watching that one, so that gives me a little bit time for him to come back, and I can discuss that one.
Okay.
So should we do Train of the End of the World right now then?
I mean, we could. I know. Let's see. Have you watched Windbreaker? Because I know that one's
Yeah. Let's just go by the list. Let's just go by the list. So Windbreaker, I dropped. I watched few episodes, but I dropped it when they started to do the whole fighting 1-on-1. They had like against the other gangs in the tournament hall. I actually lost a lot of the interest in the story. I think the first 2-3 episodes I actually really liked because I was like, this is a really fun show. Surprised me a lot, but then after that I just haven't felt the interest anymore. Maybe this isn't my kind of genre. Now I'm thinking about this one and Tokyo Revengers.
Oh yeah, the Link Win type anime.
Yeah. I guess that's not really for me. Because eventually I wasn't really feeling this one either, and the tournament arc wasn't really doing. I mean, I only watched one episode of it, so I guess I can't say too much about it. But after hearing that, they've been fighting for like 4 or 5 episodes, I'm just feeling like, yeah, it's not worth it for me anymore, and I'm not really feeling the story in a way, so I might as well drop this one.
Yeah.
Also, I think this one was on a Thursday. And Thursdays was very packed for me, so might as well let go of a few. So I think that's what I can say right now about Windbreaker.
Okay. I'm not watching that,
I don't know if
we can move on right now.
Yes, Spice and Wolf. That's one that I am watching actually. Overall, I enjoy it. It's I did talk about it in the first podcast that we have that I'm only watching the remake. I have not watched the original one, but so far for being the remake, I enjoyed the animation. I enjoyed the character design. I enjoyed the moments with I forgot the characters' names. I'm just gonna open my anime list. Hang on, so we got some time. Where is the show? There it is.
Are you talking like the main male
Yeah,
Kraft Lawrence?
Yeah, Holo and Lawrence. Yeah. Like their time together, I enjoy. Now we also had the new girl who takes care of she's like the shepherd, if I remember correctly. She takes care of the sheep. She's also a character that I like. So yeah. I am not as excited about this one though, if I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the story is a bit too slow for my liking, actually. sometimes. I don't always follow either what's going on, but it's still enough for me to keep going for now. And it's a classic one. Um, so for now, I'm gonna stick with it. I don't really have much else to say about that
Yeah,
one,
I'm
actually.
not watching this. I don't know if we talked about this during the last podcast, but yeah, I remember I didn't. I wasn't really all into the original Spice and Wolf because I remember at the time I couldn't really get invested like the whole because I remember the whole series was very like focused on like economics and all that,
Yeah,
and so.
that's probably what I'm so confused about too. Like that's the part that I not too interested in.
Mhm.
So that's actually one of the reasons probably why I feel it's a very, very slow, because I like the moments between Holo and him, but the whole economic situation is maybe it's just too complex for me. Maybe that's why it's difficult for me to enjoy that part.
Yeah, and I remember I remember like Ryu. I think Ryu said this like the last podcast that we did with him, but I know he had a complaint about like how bright the visuals in Spice and Wolf remake is because like we have like well, obviously I didn't watch it, but I did see some scenes from the first episode where like it's night, but like it's supposed to be night, but the moonlight, like the lighting is just so bright, and like I know like
Yeah, yeah.
he had a problem with with stuff like that, and like how like the bright visuals in anime these days, and that's kind of like why I kind of wish that he was in the podcast. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but yeah, other than that, Spice and Wolf, not watching it, don't have much to say.
Yeah, I'm not watching the next one, Misfit. I'm not
Misfit,
watching that one.
okay. I actually now this is one that I actually do have quite a bit to say because this anime surprised me. I actually had quite a bit of fun watching this anime. Now I'll say I say season 2 part 2 surprised me because season 2 part 1 was was pretty mid. So I remember going to season 2 part 2, I wasn't expecting much. But this anime genuinely surprised me. Because first of all, we just see more of Anos being unapologetically OP. He's just wrecking fools. And also the reason why I think the main reason why this anime surprised me so much and why I enjoyed this so much is because it's comedic. Like there's a lot of scenes in season 2 part 2 where I was actually laughing out loud, and it mostly stems from Anos just being unapologetically OP, and him literally just like flexing his powers and basically just making up like solutions and powers and scenarios just right off the bat. We've seen him in episode 7 where he literally says, "I came up with it just now." Like, oh my god, that is just it's just so ridiculous. Also, um, like there's just a lot of scenes in season 2 part 2 that just made me laugh. That made me just uh that just made me laugh out loud. Mainly, I know one of the biggest ones being in episode 7, where oh hey, Mad Lad's back. Yeah, Mad Lad, we're talking about right now. I'm talking about
Misfit.
Misfit at Demon King Academy season 2 part 2.
It's shit.
I disagree. Um,
What?
yeah,
What I mean, with all these delays and this story we're in right now is like, what the fuck is going on?
well,
So
I mentioned earlier that I had a surprisingly good time with this series. And it surprised me considering how mid season 2 part 1 was. However, I don't feel that way about season 2 part 2. As I was saying, one of the I remember like the big thing that happened in season 2 part 2 was the power of love, and how, oh my god, that one scene where Anos and Jin obliterated Lei and Amos de Hevia using their combined powers of love. And then we got the hearts and everything. It was like, oh my god. It's so, like, scenes like that. It's so stupid. But I just can't help but love it. And yeah, I like, there's a surprising amount of comedy that in season 2 part 2 that I feel like we didn't get from season 1 part 1. I really do feel like season 2 part 2, it leaned into more of what made season 1 and the series so great in the first place, which is Anos being incredibly powerful, incredibly OP, and just fully, and both Anos in the series just fully embracing like the comedy and the absurdity of it all. Also, I enjoy not just that, but I also like the character development, like the surprising character development that we got for Emilia. Now, as some of you guys may remember, Emilia, back in season 1, back when she was, I believe, a royal, as the term is called, back when she had white hair and everything, she harmed Anos' fan club. She almost killed Anos' mom. And because of that, Anos made her suffer, and she basically reshaped her into another form, in the current form she is right now. And because of that, she faced discrimination and hardship, and basically, like, the very things that she was guilty, she experienced the very things that she herself was guilty of. However, during season 2 part 2, we see her actually becoming like a really good teacher and a really good person. We see just how dedicated she was to ensuring the well-being of her students and the academy, like how far, like what she did and how far she was willing to go in order to protect her students. And we saw, and like the things that we saw from her, I really liked. I still can't fully forgive her for what she did back in season 1, but I do like how the things she did in order to basically become a better person in season 2 part 2. And not just that, but we also saw some great character development for like those 3 hero students as well. Back in season 1, we saw them go fight against Anos and his friends, and they got whooped. And now we got some great character development now for them as well. So I really like that. And yeah, it's nice that because of all that, Emilia has been promoted to headmaster of the school, which is great. However, if I have to give some downsides to season 2 part 2, I mean, I think the obvious one would have to be the CGI dragons.
There was a 3 in the last season too, I think.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with the CGI department in Silverlink. It's like at this point, like they're deliberately making the CGI aesthetically awful, like very hard to look at, and I don't understand it. Like I get it. 3D modeling is hard, but still, like, you could still at least try to make it better to look at. Like, I swear to God, at this point, I've seen early 2000s animations that look better than what we got from Misfit at Demon King Academy at this point. Like, holy moly. Yeah, the CGI dragons, they're just, I mean, honestly, at this point, I've kind of accepted it. It's probably not going to change. Sadly, it's probably not going to change anytime soon. But still, though, like, it doesn't change the fact, like, it's just hard to, like, the CGI is just, it's still hard to look at.
Let's go. Oh my god.
Mala, are you just rewatching your live reaction to the Bleach trailer?
No, I'm editing it right now.
Oh,
Sorry,
you're
guys.
editing. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm hearing the background noise from your end, like the video sound.
Yeah, sorry about that. Because I just need to edit the video because YouTube's shorter to edit on the phone.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, other than that, Misfit Demon King Academy, I'm just surprised by how much I enjoy this. Now, of course, at the time as we're recording this podcast, the final episode has not aired yet. But regardless of how it ends, I doubt it's gonna change my overall thoughts on season 2, part 2 as a whole. So, and that's why, because of all the things I mentioned, that's why it is actually my second favorite show of spring 2024. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys don't have any other thoughts on Misfit or Demon King Academy,
Nope, because I will have bad stuff to say about it.
Right. We did talk before about Windbreaker and also Spice and Wolf. So if you have anything,
Spice and Wolf is Spice and Wolf. I'm not gonna say anything about it until they get to the season 2 content. No, the end of season 1 end of season 2 content.
Right.
And then
we can move on then.
And I think you did you say your thoughts on Windbreaker as well, or?
First half is.
Oh yeah, first half is good, and then the second half you said was mid. But yeah, other than that, I think we can move on down the list. Next up on the list, Go Loser Ranger. Are you guys
watching?
Mal, are you watching this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Can you talk about it a little bit? Let me just edit this video because for some reason the audio is not playing right now.
Yeah, sure. I'll say my thoughts first. Okay, I will say this. I enjoyed the first half of the season because we are getting a season 2. I enjoyed the first half of the season, but the second half I am actually mixed on. On one hand, we did get some great moments. We saw D continuing his time in the Dragon Keeper's exam. We saw him fight the other candidates, and when he got betrayed, we saw him still formulating plans and getting the upper hand at times, as we saw in that one scene where he got his key taken away from him, and when it seemed like he lost or he failed the exam, it turns out it was all according to D's plan because he rigged the bell. He got his key back. That was really good. And some other great things that we saw in the second half of season 1 was D's whole fight with the Blue Dragon Keeper. That was pretty good. Up until, of course, the way it ended with Patrol. I think that was his name, Patrola, killing Blue Keeper for himself. Well, basically that's what happened. Blue Keeper interrupting the fight and contributing to, not Blue Keeper, Patrola and interrupting the fight and contributing to Blue Keeper's death. And there were some other great moments as well with basically the friends D made and the Dragon Keeper's exam. Man, their names escaped me. Koguma, he had a really heroic moment before he got murked. And then those other dudes, they were pretty likable. But the one thing I'm mixed on is the path the series is on right now, where D basically says, I don't like the Dragon Keepers, and I don't like the monsters. I'm gonna go my own path, and I'm gonna defeat any enemy that stands in my way. I am on no one's side. I am on my own side, and I fight for my friends. I fight for those I care about. Now, on paper, that sounds really good. That sounds like classic anime protagonist. However, I mean, I enjoy the sentiment, but there's a part of me that feels that because of that, after D declares that, there's a part of me that feels like the series is heading into a much less interesting direction. Because honestly, when D said that, I kind of found that to be kind of predictable. Because, as I've said, it's a very anime protagonist thing to say. And yeah, after that, the series basically establishes that both the Dragon Keepers and the actual villains are both shitty. And to be honest, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't go that route. I was really hoping that there's a part of me that's kind of hoping that D would just remain on the villain side, on the monster side, and have the main antagonist just be the Dragon Keepers, and have it just to be about him versus the Dragon Keepers. And while it still seems like that, now we have Patrolla and Double X XX as one of his enemies. Like the villains, the monsters are still villains basically. And now D is basically I guess the series is portraying D as the main hero all along, even though he's a monster henchman. I don't know. I can't say I'm too fond of that. I understand why some people might like that, but for me, I just can't really get behind that all that much. I just feel like that's just a much less interesting direction, and because of that, I'm just not sure if I really want to watch season 2. But yeah, other than that, Go-Go Loser Ranger, I think there were quite a few things that I enjoyed about it, but I think really the main thing that's hampering my overall enjoyment of this series is just the way the direction is going. The direction seems to be going. And like Kaiju number 8, even though I would say I like this more than Kaiju number 8, I don't know if I'm going to be watching a season 2. But yeah, I think that's pretty much sums up my thoughts on Go-Go Loser Ranger.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't blame you for thinking that like that. So, because for me though, I'm quite mixed on this series, mainly because I'm a bit annoyed by the author that he decided to focus on this more now than quintuplets.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, yeah, definitely looking forward to part 2, because from what I've been told from my subscriber that this is where the real fun begins, which they've been saying that a lot. But yeah, I'm for one are no different from what he said, because like at the start of the season I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So Rangers are mistreating them, cool. But then, sorry, give me a sec. Like, really sorry about this. I'm really editing my video right now.
It's good.
I'm sorry, guys. I need to make sure that this is the right thing to say. Yeah, upload. Okay, so yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, D. I don't really like him. The story wise, I mean, I like the whole Ranger working together and thing, and the Blue Ranger dying in the last episode, and the whole monster situation, but bullshittery, to be honest. It's just Power Rangers but done differently, and I'm not sure how I sit well with that. But I'm kind of curious now what D gonna do next in part 2. So yeah, to be honest, Kowa, what you said is pretty much sums up my feeling too. It's just like, it just feels weird that he went from this to a tournament and then trying to progress up the ladder and trying to get to where the Rangers are. It just feels so forced. I mean, D could have just usually just disguise himself as one of his colleagues, and then decide to sneak up to the Rangers and like that. But I guess he already go the long way, which kind of works in the end. So, but I presume season 2 maybe would change my mind. But for now, I'm not really sure. I want to like say more about this because like I just have nothing to say about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
But
kind
the
of...
next one,
What were you about to say?
but the next one I have a lot to say about it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, it's kind of funny that I guess if the author, if it is true that the author wants to prioritize this over quintuplets, then it's kind of funny because I think I actually like quintuplets more than this series so far.
I think we all do. I haven't watched Go Loose Rangers, but yeah, I would probably feel the same way too.
Yeah. Also, I will say though, one of the big things I like about this series is Suzukuri. I do like how mysterious and kind of crazy she is actually, because you really don't know. I will say like the series does a great job at hiding her true intentions basically, because she's kind of unpredictable. You're really not sure what she's thinking or what she's gonna do next or what role she's gonna play in the future. So I will say this series does her very well, at least. But yeah, other than that, I think we can move on now. Next up on the list is a show that I actually do enjoy quite a bit. Grandpa and Grandma turn young again.
Oh my god, dude! This anime actually hits hard for me now because I actually experienced because my grandparents my grandma just passed away.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seriously, like the timing of it is just like hits the last episode timing too. Like what the hell?
Yeah,
that's not funny, man.
Yeah.
That was not funny at all. Like the seeing how they passed away and then related to my grandma's situation right now is like, oh my god. I found out my grandma's her death like on the second last week of June, and I was like, wow, that literally came out of nowhere. Well, to be honest though, I knew she was, going to leave us eventually because she has cancer and is in the latest stage of cancer. So I was like, yeah, I was already mentally prepared, but damn, like when I was watching the Grandma anime, the last episode, I was like, fuck, this is too much now. I cannot. So because I can actually relate to what the mentality of the grandma, what they're going through right now. They want to be young again and experience youth so they can spend more time with the grandkids and helping them with their issues. And at the last episode where they say, okay, we're done, we fulfill our duties. We recounsel with our long distance store. We help our son to find a new path in his life. We help our grandkids with their problems and stuff. And especially their love life. Yeah, definitely can say we have done our job. It's time to say goodbye. And they die together. So yeah, it's true. They die. People say they didn't die, but they died. So, yeah, let's just say that ending, that finale, really hit hard for me because my grandma and granddad, I know my grandma and grandfather wanted to live another 2 more years because they really want to see me to at least get a girlfriend and stuff. But yeah, that's what they've been telling me for the past year. Say, please get a girlfriend. We want to have a great grandchild and stuff like that. But dude, come on. We live in a modern world now. It's kind of hard for us to go and get a relationship and get married. So, yeah, it's definitely very painful because because this is what grandma always what old people always wanted. They want to live another 10 more years or so that they get to be with the grandkids, help the grandkids find the path and stuff like that. But that's not how life works. If you don't take care of your body, this happens to a lot of old people. They just passed away because of stress, sad feelings and stuff. But because the two grandma in this anime, they're enjoying life, and because of the apple, they get to live another year or so and get to help out the grandkids. And so that was what really makes me sad is that my grandma this is what my grandma always also wanted it, so that he can live another 2 more years before to witness my growth, my brother's growth. So my grandfather is in the hospital right now, and I can already tell that his time is ticking. Like the sand watch thing in the anime.
The hourglass. Yeah.
The hourglass. Yeah, I think it's at that point now. The sand. So I can already like when I visit him in the hospital, I look into his eyes. I can already tell it won't be long before he joins my grandma in the afterlife. So
I have a question about that actually, because I noticed when I was in Romania and I was visiting some graves there about one of my biological grandma and grandpa. So when both of them die, even if it takes years for them to die, they're actually buried at the same grave. So they get like a gravestone together. Is it the same over there? Like they will be buried together eventually?
my grandma chose to be cremated, so they bought their cremated pot is in the temple.
Ah, okay.
That's how Chinese does their burial and stuff.
Yeah,
Just
because
say,
from what I've heard from Romanian culture is that they believe that they put them in the graves as most people do in the Christian religion, but they also decided to put them in the same grave. But they also believe that one day everyone in the graves, as I understand it, will wake up one day. So that was interesting. But yeah, I was just curious about that. Sorry.
All right. Mally, you have any other? Oh, okay.
Let me just edit this so I can hear your thoughts. Go.
Okay. I think for this show, I think I already said most of what I had to say about this series back in the last podcast. But I'll still talk about it anyways. Yeah, Grandpa and Grandma turn young again. This series really is just the perfect mix of like cute moments, wholesome moments, funny moments, but also emotional moments as well. First of all, the main couple, Grandpa and Grandma. Admittedly, I don't remember how much I've said and didn't say about how much I didn't say and didn't say back in the last podcast. Yeah, can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But Shozo and Ine, they really are just an example of like really are just like a true depiction of like true love. Because you can just tell, like even in their old age, and I think there's still a lot of like, I guess like there's just this stereotype, at least that once you get married, I'm sure like a lot of married couples actually experience this, but once you get married, like the over time, like the happiness and like the spark that you once felt for each other, it kind of fizzles out over time. Like you don't do a lot of stuff as couples that you used to back when you were younger. However,
that's why this anime hits hard, because it also makes you realize that your time will come too and you will experience their pain.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, even though their time was limited, you can just tell like they still enjoyed every minute, every second of the time they spent together before they eventually depart this world. Yeah, I mean they still deeply love each other. And then speaking of love, like another thing that this anime really does really well is the family dynamic. It's not just because like when you see them spend time with like their children and their grandchildren and then their relatives, like you can really just tell like there's a really good family dynamic going on. They really do, like the whole Saito family, like you could just feel the love in a lot of these scenes involving their family. Also, I really love the side shit we got going on with Mino and Shota. I really enjoyed their relationship. Also, I really like the developing relationship between Shiori and that other dude. I wish we could see more of them. But I think it's probably already obvious that Shiori is gonna eventually get herself her own boyfriend turned husband. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Also, I really like the comedy. Lots of emotional moments as we saw with episode 4, with Ine's older sister, and yeah, and also a lot of emotional moments as we saw with the final episode. And yeah, it really just makes you think about your own elderly family members. As I said back in the last podcast, I only have one living grandparent so far, and that's my grandma on my mom's side. And I know, and it just makes me worry, fearful of when exactly her time will come, because she is in her 80s right now.
Oh, trust me, it will. You know when it will hit you.
Yeah.
The thing about what I know, the one thing I noticed about that, my mom actually told me how my grandma died. She chose to pass away
Ah.
because she said her last word to my mom. She said that take care of me and my brother, and thank you so much for all your service for this past year. My mom said, "Why you say that?" And when my mom told me, say, "Yep, she lost her will to live," and the thing that really keeps grandparents alive nowadays is the will to live. Will they want to continue living? If they decide to die, they will die. That's the thing about old age, is that it's the motivation to keep living. And my grandma said this because my grandma is suffering from cancer. She's losing a lot of weight. She said, "Fuck this. I've had enough already. I'm having enough of this pain. I might as well rest easy now."
Yeah, I mean, I know my mom.
So-
what were you about to say?
No, yeah, just say that because the grandma. Remember this: the grandma in this anime went through the similar situation with her illness and stuff like that. It's because of the apple saved her. The apple saved her. Yeah, the apple saved her from bad health. She was nearing to death, by the way, but the apple saved her, give her time, and give the grandpa time, and they died together. And now my grandma. What's sad for me personally is my grandfather is by himself now, and he will eventually lose that motivation to continue living. So it's just sad to think about. Like when we watch this anime, say, "Oh, it's wholesome. They get to live again," but then reality hits you that this could actually happen. That this is what real grandparents want to think. This is how what will happen to
Yeah,
you when you grow old.
This will
This
be
is what
something
we-
that everyone will experience.
Because like this whole season is just showing the fact showing to you that live your life properly, or else when you hit old age, you're never gonna experience this again.
Yeah, you're gonna die with
That's why
regrets.
They do
you
talk
die
about
with
a lot of
regrets.
yeah, that was what I
Because
was gonna say. A lot of
the thing I noticed about the thing, sorry, I got cut you out there. The thing I noticed about this anime is that it teaches you that if you have regrets, do it and fix them now before it's too late. Because the grandparents have regret letting the door go, and the door never really got a chance to say sorry to the mom. They have regret not able to be there for the son in his tough situation, tough time. They have regret that they couldn't really help their grandkids a lot more than they do for this whole season. So that's why the apple said, "Okay, you saved me from my deforestation. I will give you guys a wish." So yeah, this anime really teaches you regret, and not only because it allows you to see some wholesome grandpa and grandma mode, but also tells you that if you don't live your life now, and once you hit old age, you will have a lot of regrets. So yeah, so Annie Pope, I cut you out there. What are you saying?
no, I forgot. I mean, are you two done with talking about the show? Because then I can say more stuff.
Okay. I just want to get like a couple more thoughts before I let you talk Anipode. Let's see. Oh yeah, going back to this series. If I don't think. Oh yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, going back to the whole like grandparents and like the somber topic of mortality. But yeah, I mean, my grandma. I mean, I know my mom said that she's like her side of the family is expected to have like a long life because after all, I have like I think like man, a great. I should know the connection by now, but I have like a great aunt or like a great great aunt that's like like either in her 90s or like a little over 100 years old, and so like my mom basically assured me that she's expected that her side of the family will live a long life basically. So but despite that though, like there's still part of me that's fearful. As for when my grandma's time will come. But yeah, like we said, you gotta cherish those moments while you got them. If I had to give, I don't have much like cons. I don't have much cons with this series. Well, not at least not cons that I haven't mentioned before. I'm still not a fan of the whole amnesia arc, but I'm glad that's over with. There was some comedy that didn't work with me, but that's a given with all shows that have comedy in them. And I still could have wished that we saw more development with Mino and Shoto's relationship, but I think it's already obvious that they're gonna be together. They're gonna get married. They're gonna spend the rest of their lives together.
Kind of what they said in the last episode
Yeah.
too. Actually.
Yeah. Speaking of the last episode, we saw where the series left off was we saw an old Mino and Shota. They became elderly grandparents themselves, and they found their own apple, and it's assumed that they're gonna turn young again. The cycle will continue, and I felt I know I saw one criticism about that because where the last episode left off was it's supposed to take place 50 years into the future. However, Mino and Shota, when we saw them, they're supposed to be like teenagers, which means that if it took place 50 years in the future, that means they're supposed to be 60s in their 60s. But they look way older than that.
I know, right? I was like, is that some stereotypical old people in the 60s? Like
I guess farm work really stressed them out that much.
Maybe.
If it were 70 years in the future, then yeah, I would agree. I would understand why they would look like that. But 50 years?
Yeah, it reminds me of those memes like, farming is not too stressful, says Bill 20 years old or something like that.
Not that I think about it. Since you do the math, holy shit! Yeah, that's true. They should be in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I didn't think about that part actually, but yeah, wow.
I mean, yeah, I understand. I mean, yeah, I guess I understand where the criticisms would be, but you know what? I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, other than that, Grandpa and Grandma turn young again. Like it's a really good show. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who will think like this is just a gimmick, like the Grandma turn young again is just a gimmick. But under the surface, there's a lot more to it, and I'm glad I gave this anime a chance.
All right. Now, Anipop, go for it.
Sure. Actually, overall, I enjoyed it. I do agree with you on many things, like the whole thinking about your grandparents and also them eating the apple to get a second chance to do the things they regret or didn't have time for. Because we remember what they said, right, about not having a lot of money, not being supported by family of their marriage. So there was a lot of things involved, probably that they couldn't do the things they really wanted to do. So that's part I appreciate with the show. It had some fun and wholesome moments. A bit shorter stories here and there, and but they were good. They were good. Now, of course, one thing I also found really emotional, and I was like, wow, I gave huge respect for Grandpa for that, was when he gave half his lifespan to the grandmother. And then
you knew he'd do that. You just knew he'd do that.
Yeah.
You just knew he would do that.
Big respect to that. And after that, they decided to not tell each other when they would pass away, which actually makes sense. Also, why they were like when they were supposed to die, they also said, what are we going to do tomorrow? because both of them knew they were going to die, but they didn't tell each other. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, there are some things that turn my points down a bit when it comes especially to the ending. And that is, now I was prepared for them that they could, pass away once the sand runs out. That was understandable. So I don't really have any criticism about that. It's more like um, how they passed away, because before the 80 apple, that's when they were old and sick, and she had her cancer and everything like that. So the way I would have wanted it to be was more like, if the sand runs out, then maybe they would turn old again, and then maybe from there we're gonna see some more slow build up until they pass, remembering the stuff they were able to do and such. Uh, but from my point of view, it was like they were just working in the garden as usual, and they looked pretty healthy. They were young when they passed away, and then it was pretty much, okay, we're gonna go to the tree and die now, and and that was, I felt that part was kind of weird actually, how they passed away when they were young and healthy, and actually were working in the garden as usual. So it felt a bit weird and a bit fast paced, I'd say.
I think it
Now, of
was
course,
I think it was
yeah,
evident that they knew that their time was up.
yes,
Like,
yeah. He even said it to Shota. Now it's your turn to take over, and Shota didn't get it. I get that, but I don't know. I just feel that the death itself was very sudden, and I would prefer it if it was that they first turned permanently old again, and then from there, you would see maybe wrong things to say maybe, but you see the struggle before that,
I think we did
to
see
actually have some more emotional impact of it.
I think we did see one frame where they turn old, like they did revert back to their old selves, and that, like, when they were like laying on the tree. Um,
No, they were still young. Actually, I think they was young when they died.
really? Oh, I think I'm pretty
Yes,
sure I saw
yeah.
like one frame of it.
No, as far as I remember, they were still young, and they talked about what should we do the next day, and then they died together by the tree, but they were still young. So that part I felt was a bit weird. How they didn't die when they were old, but they died when they were young and healthy. That was my gripe a bit with the show. But other than that, I agree with you guys. It was overall a nice surprise. Also, I will also say that it's not often, like most of the wholesome stuff, or quote wholesome stuff, or Roman stuff we get are high school. But to actually see, or young adults, but to actually see like an older couple and see their love for each other, for spending so much time together, that we don't see that very often. And that is also something that I appreciate with this show. So overall, solid show. Just a little bit about the ending for me, but other than that, it was an alright show.
Now I remember you tweeted that you also, or like at least you said on Memories Discord, that you also like had a problem with how episodic it was. Um,
Yeah, actually, episodic was the wrong word, but more like, the way it worked for me was that they had some very dramatic moments that I felt a lot for, but it felt like they only came at the end of many episodes. So before that, it was mostly like shorter stories. Maybe I shouldn't say episodic, but more shorter stories in each episode, and then at the end, that's when the drama comes in. So that was maybe also a little bit I had, that it's just, now, there's a good thing with that, and that is that you end each episode to look forward to the next episode. So that's a good thing. But yeah, it feels like it was mostly just focused at the end, and not so much during the whole episode. The whole episode felt more like shorter, more wholesome stories. With nothing wrong with that, but yeah.
The reason I bring that up because I actually, well, first of all, like, I think Ryu also had a problem with that. But in this series it works because, well, first of all, it's a 4 comma, so I think that type of format is a given with the anime
Mm.
adaptation. But another reason why I think the format works is because, like, it's it's supposed to, like, the main focus is supposed to be about the grandpa and grandma and then spending time like turning young again and spending time with their family, and
Yeah.
I just can't imagine like there being like a multi-episode arc focused on one thing. I can't imagine that working too well in the context of this series. So
I guess.
yeah. That's kind of why.
No,
why I brought
that's
up.
that's like that's really like a minor thing for me. It's not a big deal. The bigger deal for me was more like they died
The
when they
ending.
were still young. Yeah, that was more like didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And also what you mentioned now, I didn't even think about it before. How they look so old after 50
Yeah,
years.
that Mito and Shota. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I even remember it said 50 years later actually, but yeah. I don't have anything else to say
Yeah,
about
I
this.
think that's I think other than that, I don't think Malak has anything else to say about it. So even though he's not here,
No,
so I think we can move on to now.
he's
Oh,
back.
Malak. Okay, Malak, just in time. We're about to move on now.
Oh, the next one,
A
I have
condition
nothing
called
to say
love.
about it, to be honest. I have nothing to say about it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I know you
that to
guys
the
have.
last show.
You dropped it.
No, the next one we're gonna talk about.
The condition called love.
Yeah, I dropped it, and I already said it in the last podcast, I think. So I have nothing to add.
Okay, well, I actually did finish this anime, and to be honest, I actually enjoy this. Now, like I said, and as we've probably all know, this anime is not good. This series is not going to be for everybody. I understand. I still understand why people will not like this. I still think that Hananoi is a walking red flag, and he probably needs therapy. But I still enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. When you
Wait,
consider the
wait, Kawaii,
circumstances-
doesn't the backstory kind of like change your mind a little bit?
Oh, well. I mean, Well, listen. Okay, I was gonna get to that because yes, I understand why people will not like him, but I still like the chemistry between Hananoi and Hotaru. And I do think that this series, during the second half, it does a great job of helping viewers understand why Hananoi-kun acts the way he does and why he's so possessive of Hotaru. Because, for those who haven't watched it, basically the whole reason why Hananoi is so possessive and he acts stalkerish towards Hotaru is because it stems from his childhood. Basically, it stems from his childhood. He was basically neglected by his parents, who abandoned their own son basically to help out other kids from other countries.
Shit parenting.
Yeah.
That's why I call
Oh
shit
yeah,
parenting.
garbage parenting. And basically
Dude,
what they
the
would
parents
do.
prioritize their job over the kid. What kind of stupid parenting is that?
Yeah, and what's worse is that apparently they would send photos of them taking pictures with other kids to Hananoi. And it's just so messed up because here you have Hananoi just living with his grandma and wishing that his parents could be there for him. And then you see, he sees his parents spending more time with strangers than with their own child. It's just so messed up when you think about it, and when you in that context, and also like Hotaru was really like the only person besides his own grandma who actually seemed to like genuinely care about Hananoi. And so when you think about it in that context, it really does become like understandable why.
Yeah,
he would act
because
that
I
way.
was actually questioning that because I also heard about the backstory and everything like that, but I was still like, okay, but if that is the case, how come he's only acting like that towards her and nobody else? Because I feel like that would be more like a major problem with more people if he was having those issues because of his parents. But maybe it's as you say, because she actually shows genuine care for him because he seemed to be quite popular if I remember correctly. But maybe that was more like what is it called? not deep. Like they just think maybe he's handsome or something like that. I don't remember. But while she did something that hit deeper to him. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Yeah, you can. Sorry, you can keep talking.
Another reason why, and as we learn, another reason why he's so like possessive and protective of Hotaru is it seems to be based on the guilt back on what happened when he was back what happened during elementary school. Because as we learned during the last two episodes, Saki, Hananoi-kun, actually had a crush on Hotaru ever since they were kids. I'm sure it seemed like to be started off as just like, childhood crush, he probably had a crush on her because, she's cute and all and she's nice. But as we learn, he was there when Hotaru had her hair cut and the rumors circulated that her and the other dude, oh my god, man, his name escapes me, but he was there when rumors were circulating that her and the other dude had a thing going on, and it seemed like he felt guilt that he wasn't there to help her during that critical time in her life. So I think it's definitely seemed like, to me at least, that another reason why he's so protective of Hotaru is because he wants to make sure that nothing bad ever happens to her again, and that he can be there when she faces adversity and all that, or make sure, and he wants to make sure that she never ever has to cry again or ever has to get bullied ever again. Also, I feel, and I remember during the discussions during the last episode, there were some people saying that, oh, he's been a little creep ever since elementary school. That's basically what the season 1 finale proves. I'm like, bro, like he's been a possessive asshole ever since he was a kid. That's basically what the season 1 finale proves. And I'm like, seriously? That's what you got from it? Because the way I see it, like people have been saying that, oh, Hananoi has been falling in love with Hotaru for no reason, has been possessive of Hotaru for no reason. I'm like, bruh, have you never had a crush when you were a child? Like, I don't think there doesn't need to be a deeper reason to form a childhood crush. It could really just be something as simple as, oh, I like her because she's cute and she's nice. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how it all started initially for Hotaru. I'm sure that's how it starts for a lot of other boys that were his age. So yeah, there's just criticisms that I just can't agree with in regards to that. However, despite that, that doesn't mean that I think that Hananoi's behavior, that doesn't mean I think that Hananoi did nothing wrong, or that Hananoi's behavior is 100% justified. Yes, it's understandable, but the actions that we saw of him during the first half of the series, I cannot condone that. So that's why I said, like, Hananoi is still a walking red flag and that he needs therapy. But, however, I still do think that if the first episode started off with Hananoi's backstory, then I do feel like there will be more people that would be more sympathetic of Hananoi and understand his actions, rather than this series just doing what it did and immediately portraying Hananoi as a stalkerish creep. I feel like if they did that, like to start off with Hananoi's backstory, then I really do feel like less people would be put off by the show. But yeah, other than that, Condition Called Love, it's not my favorite rom-com that I've seen. I wouldn't say that. In fact, I wouldn't even say it's my favorite rom-com of this year. I think in terms of shoujo rom-com goes, it still goes to A Sign of Affection for me. But I still enjoyed some things about this show. and I still like it enough to put it in my top 5 for the season, for the spring season. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Condition Called Love.
Oh my god, I don't even want to say anything about it because I don't even rate this love story, to be honest. Like, I mean, I get it. He has his childhood trauma over bad parenting, and he just needs someone to be close with. And Hana, and well, what's her name again? See how much I forgot already. What's the girl's name again?
The main girl, Hotaru?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hotaru. See how much I forgot this anime already. Hotaru. Well, I don't like her. I don't really like her personality. The only thing I like about her is that she's being voiced by Kan Hanazawa, and that's about it. Her personality as a heroine of a story is just like, nah, no, not it for me, man. I still finished it, but I gave it a very low score actually. So, yeah, I mean, the last episode of the season was like more like just saying, oh, he's not as bad as you think. All he wanted is some love connection and some beautiful moments and stuff like that. That is not a saving grace, to be honest. I would rather he just continue to be a stalker and that's about it. But yeah, all I'm trying to say is that don't make him redeemable, I would say. And yeah, I'm glad he's happy. I'm glad he found his love life now, but not it for me. I mean, I'm glad at least they kiss. And that's the only good thing I can say about it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Anipode, you got anything?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Next up on the list is... I'm going to go back to list. Next up on the list... Jellyfish can't swim in the light. Oh, dear.
I'm not watching this.
Mala, you want to start off with your thoughts?
I would love this anime to focus more on Mahiru and what's her name again? Shit. Let me just bring up the.
I think it's like Kano or Kana, I believe.
Jellyfish.
This is where we need Ryu session because I think he enjoyed this one.
No, he actually started to not really like the last couple of episodes,
Yeah.
but
Really?
Yeah,
but here we go. So what? Yeah, Kano. Yeah, I think from what I can take from this anime, it focuses more on content creation and showing how competitive it is to start a YouTube channel and able to compete in the industry of music. Music is a very competitive industry, and it's kind of hard to get your name out there unless you do something very unique. Like in this case, though, they draw and they sing and they have good tunes to it. Yeah, basically, it's good. I'm glad that they are able to live the dream and able to do what they love, making music and just making music and sharing the content. But the one thing that really had me questioning is that this whole thing they're doing, especially for Kano, she is mostly doing it just to get back at her mom. And I say, wow, okay, so this is more like a revenge story then. So, but and when the one thing I like about this is when Mahiru said that I'll be doing your mom's project and stuff like that, she belittled her and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, now that's getting spicy.
Going down.
It's going down now, but then how Kano reacted after that, it just goes to show how fragile she is in the end, though. How emotionally fragile she is in terms of like in relationship wise, and if something goes bad, she's just gonna react negatively from it. So it's very funny to see how Kano just went back to shut in and stuff like that after he wanted to quit the group, which is very predictable to be honest, but. Yeah, I can definitely see the appeal of this anime in terms of seeing cute girls doing cute things. Like, like the Journey to Antarctica anime, it's almost a similar vibe to that. But this one's more like content creation, sharing your music and sharing your passion for drawing. And of course, be more confident in yourself and rather than trying to be someone different in order to adapt to the society. So that is basically the message from this anime. Just be yourself, do what you love, and just continue with your passion and don't let people talk down on it. So... it basically just saying that if you have a passion for it, go for it. Yeah, that's the best way I can see from this anime, and it's very enjoyable though. Get to see the girls just do something straight out of their passion, going through some realistic approaches to life and stuff like that. Even though, remember this, they're still 14 years old.
Yeah,
They are still 14 years. Huh?
They're still like teenagers.
They're like teenagers, but not like fully grown teenagers yet. And they went through all these experiences. Holy shit, man! Like, wow. But yeah, damn. I guess this anime really knows how to like deliver in terms of like content, in terms of like how we live in society nowadays, and how it is kind of hard to sell your passion and stuff. But the girl made it possible, and all it takes is meeting the right person. So, well, obviously you can say this anime has that appeal, but then although in the end though, I kind of hope that we get to see more Yuri stuff. But
yeah,
I think that's the reason. Like, more character moments spent together rather than focusing on project and stuff like that. Well, we do have those moments, but not a lot of it. I was hoping that we get to learn more about the Yuri relationship between Mahiro and Kano, but we got nothing. All we got is heartbreaks between them and reconciliation and stuff. So, yeah, I have nothing really much more to say about this. I mean, I'm pretty sure Rio have more meaningful to say to this, but for me, the meaningful thing for me personally is that this anime just tells you to like, just really teaches you that not to give up on your passion and just go for it, and don't let people like talk down to you about it. So, yep, that's it.
I checked now on Analyst. Actually, he changed his score to 20 out of 100 or 2 out of 10. So apparently
damn.
he had some criticism at the end.
Oh shit! I do wonder what is it though.
All right. Well, my thoughts on this anime. This show disappointed me. I'm gonna be real.
Disappointed you?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
I wanted to like this, but yeah, this show disappointed me. And it's not much. I wouldn't say it's much of a hot take because I have seen quite a few people say that the anime did fall off during the last few episodes.
Oh my
now,
God.
are you still editing the video?
Yeah, I'm just like checking on my video quality. See, did YouTube block it or something? But no, it's not blocked. Good.
Okay. Well, I will say what I did like about the show is, first of all, I still think that Cloverworks did a great job with the visuals and animation. I still think there was...
It was Dogakobo who did it.
Oh, Dogakobo. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I still will say Dogakobo did a great job with the visuals and animation. There were still a lot of aesthetically pleasing moments. The characters were pretty likable. However, and yeah, we did get some Yuri and some cute moments. But
some Yuri.
Yeah.
Some Yuri.
Yeah, some Yuri. But however, going to my gripes. First of all, I think I didn't talk about this during the last podcast, but the backstories and how a lot of, I think like, yeah,
you talked about it.
Yeah, a lot of backstories and a lot of the characters in this show like experience bullying and all of that, and being like, made fun of for who they are and all of that. And I still think that shit is just getting tiring. I mean, because yeah, I get it. Bullying and people thinking that you're weird for enjoying certain ways or enjoying certain things or acting certain ways. Yeah, that happens to a lot of people in real life. I get that. But to have basically the entire cast being bullied or being made fun of at least one point in their life, it gets excessive. It's kind of like how we talked about in Demon Slayer with the dark backstories in that show. Also, another problem that I have with this show is I mentioned this in Memories Discord, but the last few episodes, namely the whole moment with Kiwi's vocal performance in the live stream. Holy moly, that turn of events. That was
what was it again?
Huh?
Which one?
The scene where Kiwi sang during the live stream, and then where
Oh my! Fuck off! That scene.
oh
That
my
was
god,
cringe as fuck.
yeah, that
That
was
was
so
cringe as fuck.
oh my god, yeah, that was so fucking cringe. And it's what's made worse is that that's supposed to be like the pivotal moment in the series where like Kano and Kano is supposed to like make up with everybody, and it's supposed to like and they're supposed to like get the group back together. However, the emotional payoff just wasn't there because like it's just hard for me to get emotionally invested in the scene when you have Kiwi's well, let's just say special vocal performance in the background. And also I just don't, and the fact that it takes place all during a live stream, it really takes me out of it. Because as I mentioned, first, like the turn events that we had, like first of all, we get a disbandment announcement. Like Jelly had to announce to the viewer that they were disbanding, and then right after that, Kiwi's all like, "No, I don't want this to end," and then she starts singing terribly, and then we saw oh my god, the VTuber. Oh my god, I already forgot her name. Kimura-chan. I think that was her name. No. Yeah, wait, no, was it Kimura-chan? Well, the VTuber, basically. And then the VTuber goes to Kano, and then she shows her the live stream and the vocal performance, and then now everything's back. Everything's good again. And then the viewers are saying, "Oh, Jelly's back." But and here I am thinking, bruh, if I was a viewer watching that live stream, watching the whole tournament events,
Dislike.
Yeah, dislike. I wouldn't be like, "Yay, Jelly's back." I'd be like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" And then and in the next episode, the season finale, they say shit like, "Yo, look at this. We got so many views. It's went viral." And I'm like, how? Literally how? How? There's no way something like that would go viral in actuality. I have a hard time, like, I have a hard time suspending, like, my disbelief.
Maybe we should sing some bad songs and maybe our video get viral.
I know, maybe I'll get millions of views by butchering a song. That's the new, there we go. That's the new way we can gain the YouTube algorithm.
Oh my god, this show is so unserious, man. Like the way that you get her back is just like, oh my god, that's passion, but that's cringe. So
and what's baffling to me is that I don't think I've seen a lot of people feeling the same way about that scene. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's so emotional. I almost cried." I'm like, no, man. How could you? How I don't agree with that. How could you find any emotional payoff from this show?
They must be girls, or maybe it must be people younger than us.
Maybe.
So,
and also another problem I have with this series is how the last episode ended off. Like basically how the whole conflict surrounding Kano and her mom, how that concluded. Now that's something I actually do agree with people on. A lot of people saying that it ended off too quick, ended off too nicely. Like it wrapped things up like too quickly and too nicely. Like it didn't. There wasn't a lot of build up to it. And I agree because like especially considering how Kano's mom neglected her and basically like abandoned how Kano's mom basically neglected her after all these years. And like the way all of a sudden she's a nice woman now who turns out like she supported Kano this entire time. Like, yeah, I can't really get behind that.
too late, to be honest. That's a little bit too late for that.
Too little, too late. And also, just in general, like, I feel like there's just in general, there's just not a lot for me to latch onto with this show. I feel like I would maybe like this show more if I was more into the idol scene, like the Japanese idol scene, or if I was more of like an idol fan, or like a Japanese pop idol fan. But that is not me. So yeah, unfortunately, I just cannot grasp this show all that much. I just cannot find much enjoyment in this show all that much. Not as much as other people may. So yeah, like I said, I really want to like this show. I wanted to call this the hidden gem, the great hidden gem of the season, but I just cannot give it that title. From what I've seen. So yeah.
I mean, it isn't an anime original, and then apparently this story was originally written to. I don't know. From what I heard, that was originally written to convince a lot of people that content creation is fun. I remember really seeing some people saying this on Twitter and stuff. I was like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice message behind it where about how you can just be yourself, do whatever you want without fearing judgment from other people. Yeah, I mean, I get the sentiment behind that, and yes, as a content creator myself, I do relate to some things that occur in this show, but that's not enough for me to sing high praises about this series. But yeah, other than that, any final thoughts, or are we ready to move on?
Move on.
All right.
I'm hungry, so move on.
Okay, next up on the list is Whisper Me a Love Song. Oh dear.
AKA the most stupid Yuri love story I've seen so long. I thought it would be good, but then it turned to some random ass Yuri war. I was like, you know what's funny? I thought this was gonna be like keep blooming to Yusuf level of Yuri greatness, but nope. This is turned to a Yuri war. Turns to some cringe. Oh my god, I love you, but then because of this stuff happened in the past, and then there's love rivals, and then the student council, and this and that, and it's been delayed and delayed and delayed. Oh my god, you have no idea how annoyed I am with this series after episode 3. So I wanted this show to do well, but then that shit happened. Remember, the reason why the blondie girl was in love with the main girl was because she wanted to fix her, to know how to see away her pain from that breakup she had with her old colleague and the current president or whatever. Man, this is some cringe Yuri love story.
Is that it for your thoughts on this series?
Mostly. Go for it.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I am not caught up with this.
It would not worth your time. It's not worth.
I think I'm like 2 episodes behind, and yeah, the fucked up schedule certainly doesn't help either. But what I will say from what I've seen so far, I can't say I can sing too many high praises for this either. Like Jellyfish can't swim in the light. Jellyfish can't swim in the night. I wanted to like this more as well because I like Yuri. I would consider myself to be a Yuri fan, and I of course had to check this out because it is Yuri. But I mean, while I did enjoy Yoru, and I did enjoy the 2 leads' romantic chemistry initially, I feel like ever since, I think her name was Shiori, the bitchy girl, ever since she came into the scene.
The bitchy girl. I love that. The bitchy girl.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what she is from what I've seen so far. Like, she kind of does act like a bitch. But yeah, ever since she came into the scene, I really do feel like the direction derailed into her direction. I feel like the series kind of derailed into her direction instead of focusing on developing the relationship between the 2 main leads. I feel like it's going more towards proving Shiori wrong and basically trying to come up with a song that will basically one up Shiori. And from what I've seen, I'm just not liking it. And her backstory doesn't really do her any favors either. Even with her backstory, I still don't like her as a character. And it seemed like I'm in the minority with of this because a lot of people seem to actually like her. Mainly because I guess she's a I guess because she's a shit stirrer and she causes drama and she's interesting to some people. But I just cannot agree with that. So yeah. Also, the animation doesn't really help either. I mean, look, I understand. Like, as some of you may know, I am a believer that as long I don't expect Sakuga or KyoAni levels of animation from every anime that I watch. Just as long as the anime looks good enough and that it tells the story and entertains me well enough, then I can look past subpar animation. But we have not seen that with this series, so I cannot look the rather interesting scene transitions that we've seen and some of the shots where the animation in general just looks off. And apparently,
wasn't this studio taking breaks too because of production issues?
Yeah, there were production issues. That's why we had the fucked up release schedule with the last few episodes. So yeah, other than that, Whisper Me a Love Song. Yeah, like I said, I wanted like this, but so far this series is just not doing it for me. Annabelle, are you watching this?
No.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
All right.
To
next up on the list is hold on, I need to get back on.
Yuru Kampu.
Okay, I think the next few several shows I'm not watching. So
to be honest, I'm not caught up until we got to train into the other world, but we can do Eurocamp now.
Okay.
So Eurocamp, I'm just gonna say this now. I'm gonna say this right now. It's basically tourism, the anime. It's just promoting more areas to visit in the region of Mount Fuji and the Fuji-ko area. So yeah, it's fun, wholesome. Get to see the girls go camping, and that's pretty much how much I can say about it. Yozakura Family. Are you watching it? No?
No.
Yozakura Family, all I can say is right now is that it's getting good. Now we're going to dive more into Taiyo's real family crisis situation. And now with this new rival gang they're dealing with, now this is where the fun truly starts from what I can see. And I'm really enjoying it so far. Especially how the comedy side of the story really, really fits well with the liking of, one of those wholesome family comedy shows. But now, from what I can see, it's gonna get serious now. So that's the best way I can see it. But I'm looking forward to the second half of the season from this. Hibiki Euphonium.
I just heard that some people didn't like the brother in Yozakura Family. Apparently, Memory was one of them.
He was meant to be not really liked, to be honest. He's meant to be very attached to the system, making him being very annoying. So I can understand why not a lot of people like him. Well, for me though, it never really bothered me that much. As long as he delivers the fun, gaggy comedy, I don't really care. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just waiting to see when the Taiyo will have the courage to kiss his wife. So yeah, let's just say that is about it for now. I'm going to move on to Hibiki Euphonium, which I want to move on again because I haven't even started episode 1, season 3. I just only recently finished the movie. Blue Archive, have you watched it?
No.
I dropped it. Yeah.
This is one where we need Blue Station because he apparently enjoyed this one.
Yeah, but he's not here, right? So suck on it, real. This show's shit. So let's move on to your favorite one, Train to the End of the World, aka from what I can see on Twitter is Zombie World War or something. Zombie.
Yeah, there was some train station with zombies. There was this girl who had a control over all the.
The only thing I like about this anime is the opening being sung by Roku Denashi because I listened to her song, so that's the only thing I like about it.
You dropped the show, right?
I didn't even bother picking it up. I already know about it because of Roku. I already know about this because of you and Roku Denashi because she's doing the ending theme for this.
Right. Yeah, I can say my thoughts. They won't be too long, actually. But overall, I've had very much fun watching this show. It was interesting to see them going through each station while the whole 7G incident had happened, and the stations has kind of turned out to be very weird because of the 7G signals. Very interesting journey with the train to see the mushroom city and all the weird cities that they went through. There are some things at the end that I at the last episode that make me lose. I didn't give it as high score as I could have, and that is because there were still a lot of questions at the end, and that is mainly because they said that when if we the so-called princess, the fifth girl of the group, who was in Ikebukuro where this whole 7G incident happened, they said like if she pushes the button again, the world will go back to normal because now it's like a very messed up world. Their hometown, everyone is animals, apparently, after the whole incident. But when she pushed the button, the only thing that really changed, I think, was Ikebukuro. Like Ikebukuro went back to normal, but the rest didn't really go back to normal. Even their family members were still animals afterwards. And then their excuse was kind of like, well, we can't change everything back to normal. And that was pretty much the end. So that I was like, that wasn't really a full conclusion to the story. But as a whole, it was a very fascinating and unique show. I liked the stations. I liked the OSTs. They were very nice. Now, also, I know Remember he said this in the previous podcast, I think, and I kind of agree with him that I wish the ending would also turn more emotional and more drama. It felt like it's just kept being comedy all the way until the end. So it was kind of difficult to take seriously sometimes what they wanted to do. I also agree on that. But overall, I gave it 8.5 out of 10. So overall, as a whole, I'm quite satisfied with this show actually. So that's what I can say. Next one is Seiyuu Radio. That should be. I'm not watching this one, but maybe you are.
Yeah, all I can say is that it teaches you the hardship of being a voice actor in the industry, and seeing the girls going through a lot of like trouble, fighting for their reputation and getting roles and able to live up to the role. It's just a very refreshing take to how Seiyu anime go, because I remember watching some Seiyu anime. It has a similar vibe to it, but this one is more like focus on like the girl's mentality on being a Seiyu. Yeah, I mean, credit goes to show the fact that they really fought hard, and there are a lot of character conflicts and character and jealousy within within the agency, and within the Seiyu industry is not really like everyone works together. People will fight in order to prove that they deserve this role and deserve to be better to get this role in the future. So it's very more like character conflict, and get to see that if you have talent, you're gonna get more roles. If you don't have talent, then something else will get in your way from it. But yeah, all I can say is that it's a really realistic approach to Seiyu industry, and even though they're just high schoolers, which is not my liking, it's still very fun to watch. To see the girls like battling through the hardship of being a voice actor in a very young age. By the way, it's very rare nowadays you see voice actor in high school. It's mostly post high school. So yeah, all I can say is a very fun anime to watch on a Wednesday before they're live in Konosuba. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, which I can actually talk a lot about. So
Yeah.
Girls Band Cry, the biggest surprise of the season, and definitely caught many people by surprise. I mean, to be honest though, people watch this anime thought thinking that it would be like Bocchi the Rock. In my opinion, it's better than Bocchi the Rock. So mainly because there's not a lot of cringe moment you see in this anime, but mostly more this also like coming of age moments that you have for girls. For example, Nina, because she's still young and stuff, because she went through a lot of hardship back in her hometown. She just wanted a fresh start, and starting a music career isn't a bad idea, but for forming a band, especially with Momoka, a very disrupt Momoka, conflicted about her passion for music. It just shows the journey that she had with Momoka, and along the way met Awasubaru. Awasubaru is more like the gleaming, energetic girl. They can keep the girls together, and I like her for that. and of course the remaining two girls more like just there just to make up the numbers, in my opinion. But they have a role to play later on. But it's mostly Nina and Momoka, how their relationship bloomed from start to finish. Like Momoka, at first she wants to quit music, but seeing Nina able to convince her that there is still passion, there is still hope for your music to be shown to the world, and the way that they fought hard together and convince each other and show how much they love each other is just like very touching, and that is the beauty of this anime. Not the music is just music. Music is very subjective, to be honest. You like the music, you like the music. You don't like the music, you don't like the music. For me, I like the music. I downloaded it. I bought the album on Apple Music, and definitely this is going to be one of the big standout anime for the season. If this doesn't win anime of the season, then I'll be very surprised, because this is something that many people really rate on Friday every week. It's trending number 1 in Japan every time it comes out, and it also goes to show that CG animation can be done well and can be not be a bad thing to the industry, as long as it really sends out a message with the character animation moments that can help deliver the message. So that's what I say to those CGI haters. So yes, you can say it can be very inconsistent in some moments, and that's why I give it a 9 out of 10. But it's mostly the story and mostly the girls' engagement and mostly the music also really captivated how hard is it to like really sell yourself in the music industry, and have, just because you're now part of an agency doesn't mean that you will immediately be successful. You need to be able to compete for marketing rights and for your music to be licensed for copyrighted for some other companies to use. So it's the first step for their career in this case, and seeing how the girls now have an agency that supports them, and how they are now taking them one step closer to their professional, to fulfilling their professional life. It's, oh my god, I can really say that this is definitely really touched my heart to see how far Nina has gone, from a very whiny girl to a very girl that just want to fight for her love for music. And yes, you can say she can be very cringy in a lot of moments, but remember that she's 17 years old. She just came out of a hardship in her life, and she did not want to let go of that. So that's why I would say that this anime really captivated a realistic approach to forming a band and maintaining the relationship. So, well, other than that, though, a very fun anime to watch on a Friday, and definitely caught many people surprised. It's just sad that a lot of people have to pirate this anime to watch, because for some reason,
why I can get beforehand that it doesn't get any license, because maybe they're expecting, it's just CGI and an original. No one's going to be interested in this one. But when you hear about the popularity, how come it's still restricted around the world? I don't
Toei
really know
Animation.
how this
Toei
this has
Animation.
happened before with Toei. I don't really know how they work with this.
I don't
but
know
it
why
seems to-
Toei Animation being a dick about it, because I know Crunchyroll will immediately jump into it and get it already, but maybe Toei Animation just wanted to be Japan focused. I don't know. I feel like they just want to be Japan focused, so they decide not to let it go for overseas, because I have a feeling the company behind Girls Band Cry, or Together Nashi Together Ari, the band group, they just want their name to be known inside Japan, and the anime was the best way to sell the name. So maybe that's why they just wanted to be in Japan only. So that's why they didn't allow the Crunchyroll to license it, because they don't want it to be a global anime yet. So maybe I think that could be the reason, or the other reason is that Crunchyroll are just being an asshole not to license it. But yeah, I mean,
because if I was in their position, because I get that they might, originally wanted to be mainly to Japanese viewers, but if I was in their position, wouldn't I want an anime to be more promoted around the world, no matter the story? That's what my
now I
question
know
is.
the thing is, though, if you promote the brand name across the world, like just like what did you gonna do with Crunchyroll, and it just kind of like I don't know. I don't think they're ready for it. I really feel like they wasn't that ready to like get to be getting the name outside of Japan. They just want to focus to Japan only, because remember this, they are a new band group. They just want people to like listen to know about them and listen to the music, so that they can have gigs around Japan. And that's the thing. They want to market the brand name inside Japan so they can have more gigs around Japan. But little did they know that we live in a world of piracy, and people watch the anime, and boom, it's popular. And now they have to adapt to this new popularity of this brand name.
Yeah, and they have to go on world tour, right, to do their music.
They're not going to do a world tour. They are not doing a world tour. They're not that popular yet. They are not that popular yet. They're popular for anime fans, but they're not popular for music fans because some people say that the music is very generic. But I like it. I like this song. I like the instrumental for the part of the song. So music is subjective. Like I said, music is subjective.
I'm gonna check if they are on Spotify. Actually, I haven't heard them, but I should check them out.
Together Ari, Together Nashi. That's the brand name.
Yeah, I can see many songs here actually, so it looks like I can listen to them later. Good.
Yeah, but yeah, all I can say is that Girls Band Cry 9 out of 10. One of the biggest surprise of the season. If JLR doesn't win anime this season, I want this one to win anime this season. So, yeah.
All right. So since Kawaii Crew is back, maybe he wants to catch up.
Shinigami Bocchan. Let's end the podcast strong. Let's go.
Hell yeah, buddy! Shinigami Bocchan.
Now you have to do this with camera.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, who wants to start? Do you want to start, Mad Lad?
Go for it. I don't care.
Okay, I can start then because I haven't started yet. So maybe the strongest season of all 3 seasons for me. I really, really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 10 out of 10. Now afterwards, I'm wondering, did I give it too high score maybe? But I give it a 10, so I'll stick with that. Because there was I could already see how this was the last season because there was so much stuff happening. It was very interesting, and I think my friend Jay reacts in his last reaction that everyone got a happy ending, and that was kind of how they concluded the season. Because at begin he actually watched the second last episode where they were on the train, and he was giving her the flower and proposing. He was like, well, that could be the ending. I don't need another episode. But when he watched it, he was like, okay, they gave everyone else happy endings too. So that was good. Now I do, as I said, a lot of things happen, and they got their relationship with who was the evil one of the sisters? Sade, right? That's she changed her mind. She removed the curse, and I remember hearing your voice tweet, Kawaii, after that episode.
Yeah.
I still heard you still had like boogers in your nose or something like that. I cried to this episode.
Nah, my moment of weakness.
Yes, and because it was really, this is something that we have waited for a long time. The only thing I wish, because yes, it was very wholesome and such, but I wished beforehand that it didn't have the whole situation with him getting the protection around him, because then she could touch him a little bit as well. I wish they could have skipped that part to make it more impactful once they actually could touch each other. Yeah. So that kind of ruined it a bit, but yeah, it's no big deal. But yeah, when they hugged each other, and then of course she left the letter and she left the house because I don't deserve you. So I'm glad that he found her on the train. That because you don't see Alice being emotional a lot. You usually see her smile and keep it inside, but to see her actually getting all emotional after that happened and on the train, and him just like, I want you, and that was beautiful. And the wedding, like I was just watching the last part of this last episode, and I was just a few seconds left. I was like, if we don't get a kiss here, I'm gonna get stuff. And
that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, and we got the kiss. So I was very satisfied with that. Otherwise, I would be very angry. After all of that, just no kiss. And also, we got to see the kiss between Dalet and Walter. And they were, I think Viola and the other ones were downstairs. Oh, they're kissing. That was very awesome as well. I still don't think she actually had to become a human for him. I don't think that was actually necessary because they could still be a couple, unless unless maybe it's because she's a witch and she's not a human, so maybe they can't have children if she doesn't turn into a human. Maybe that's
I
how
think
she's
that's
thinking. I
also.
don't know.
I think it's also because witches also have like a much longer lifespan of humans. So I don't think maybe she also doesn't want to see Walter, pass away right before his eyes or her eyes.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, but yeah, and her scars were removed, so that's good. Also, when they were dancing on the roof, I actually really liked that scene. I watched it many times actually afterwards, actually when they were doing the song. I don't have too much else to add. This was of the three seasons, because I will be honest, I thought season two was okay, but season three, that's where things really started happening, and that was just one of the most beautiful endings I've seen from a romance anyway, where they actually complete the story in such a good way. Everyone gets a happy ending. Walter takes over from Victor, his name is apparently, and and he can be able to touch, and yeah, I have nothing else to say that this was a very amazing finale, and I'm very, very satisfied with the ending.
It's funny that you brought up the whole like the time they were able to touch each other temporarily, because I was actually thinking about that. I think after the second to last episode, I was like, wait a minute, they did touch each other temporarily. Doesn't that cheapen the impact? Wouldn't that cheapen the impact of the curse being removed for some people? But however, I don't think that's the case, because they did know that the temporary it was that spell was only temporary. After that,
Yeah.
they were gonna go right back to the Duke not being able to touch anybody. So I think when you consider that, like I don't think it impacts the ultimate curse being broken too much, because because that time it was only temporary. This time it is permanent, and after the curse is broken, they're able to basically, embrace each other for as long as they want to, for as much as they want to, for, as long as for the rest of their lives. So I think when you consider that, I don't think the temporary spell lessens the emotional impact too much. Of course, that's just my opinion. But yeah, Shinigami Bocchan season 3. As you mentioned, yes, I did. It is true. This was the first anime to have ever made me cry. No, by cry, I wasn't like. It's not like I was just going, like not full on crying, but there were like legitimate tears running down my face, like when the curse was broken and the Duke / Victor was able to touch Alice. Was able to touch her hand for the very first time. As Memory mentioned, we have waited so long, years, for that moment, ever since season 1. And the way it was executed, oh my god, it was just so beautiful. It was so emotional, and it was so satisfying as someone who's been following this series ever since season 1. This made me legitimately cry. And this is coming from someone who has watched season 2 of Assassination Classroom, who has watched Made in Abyss, who has watched many other sad moments in anime. Though, like, I have never before, there were some moments that made me misty-eyed, that made my eyes water a bit, but never full-on cry, tears streaming down my face until now. And the fact the series is able to make me do that, it's crazy to me, and I just can't help. And have you guys watched my top 10 video?
No,
Okay. Well, I probably should.
but I'm guessing you put this one as number one, probably.
Maybe. Um, but yeah,
You did.
okay, yes, I did. But yeah, Shinigami, like, yeah, going back to Shinigami Bocchan season 3. Um, it's just I love season 3. It's more, it got more of our favorite characters, more of what made the previous two seasons so great. We got the wonderful chemistry between Duke and Alice that all culminated to a very satisfying conclusion with them eventually getting married at the end of the season. We also got more Walter and Daleth. Their relationship ended off strong. We also got more of the other characters, and which, and yeah, also one thing I didn't expect from season 3 was Shade being a sympathetic villain. I think this series now, whether you condone her actions or not, or whether you agree with how her backstory was handled, I do think this series did do a good job at making us understand where she's coming from, like why she cursed the Duke, why she was so bitter, why she acted so evil all this time.
Yeah.
I mean, because yeah, Victor was the first person that the Duke's grandfather. He was the first person that she ever fell in love with, and she didn't and because of her upbringing, she didn't properly know how to deal with unrequited love and all of that. Especially when you consider her parents treated her like shit. She didn't know how to treat her own sister properly. So, and of course, and she cursed the Duke because I think it's because like, not only because he shared the same name as Victor, but also because she didn't want to suffer alone. She wanted someone else to feel the same pain that she did, which, I mean, it's not, obviously I don't condone thinking that way, but I think it's still understandable why she would think that way and why she did the things she did. And I do think it's really nice that she was able to turn herself around, and she was able to apologize for cursing the Duke, and she was able to apologize for cursing Sharon, aka Alice's mom, and all that. So she really did a good job at just making amends towards everybody. And yeah, the last episode, I just cannot think of a better way for this whole series to end off. Like Antipode, like you said, everybody got their happy ending. It was a terrific send-off for all the characters that we've grown to know and love. Especially the mom. I remember when I wasn't, like, back in season 1, like many people, I wasn't a big fan of the mom, but man, as the show progressed, you really get to like her. And like, oh my god, that moment, that one scene between Gebra and the Duke when they were hugging out in the garden. Oh, that was just so sweet.
Yeah.
That was so sweet. You could just tell, like, she really wanted to be a good mom all this time, and she wasn't just bitter by default. But there were some specific circumstances that made her act the way she did during the past few seasons. But yeah, other than that, there's really not much else I could say about Shinigami Bocchan season 3. It's such a terrific send off. I'm gonna miss this series, and I think there's good, like, any time a series can provoke that kind of emotion out of me, I have to hold it in high regard. So
I don't know what score you gave it eventually.
To be honest, I don't know either. But I will, yeah, it's usually, when it comes to my top 3 for a season, I don't give it a score until after, like, the end of the year. Because I don't want to spoil, because I don't know what my AOTY is ultimately going to be, and I don't want to spoil it for when I do my top 10 anime of the entire year. So, right now I just gave it like a temporary score of like a 6 out of 5.
Okay, that's as good as it gets.
Yep. But yeah, that is it for Shinigami Bocchan. That is it for our podcast on the spring season. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or are you guys okay with just ending it right here?
Yeah, we can add
I
it.
can't believe the summer season is here and it's so mid already.
Oh, whoa, hang on. Whoa. Hot take.
Well, for me, it's a lot of romance. So
Well, to be honest, yeah, I'm not watching. I honestly am not watching much compared to other seasons when it comes to summer season. So,
that's a
we'll
good
see
thing
how it
actually.
goes.
Sometimes it's nice to have
Yeah.
to watch less. It's actually nice.
So yeah, you can say this season more chill for me then. That's good. That's good. So
Honestly, it's still kind of hard to believe the spring season already ended because I remember how hype we all were back when the
and that's why
after
time flew by
winter
quickly.
season. Yeah,
And that's why time flew by quickly.
man, how time
So-
flies.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to see what's some new anime that's gonna capture the Oshinoko, and Aoya and Dear Anime will take over the season. And well, all I can say is that looking forward to see summer season whether or not this is something that will say it's gonna be one of the best season ever or not. But we just have to see, man. Yeah. Other than that, though, thank you so much for listening, everyone.
All right, and Anipo, are you ready to wrap things up?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to these guys' channels. Also, Mad Lad is going to be uploading. Well, I don't know when exactly he's going to be uploading it, but
Monday.
Monday. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen it already, he is going to be uploading, or maybe he has already uploaded as the time of the section alone of the daylight discussions on his channel. So yeah, check that out on his channel if you want. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.